Ba-da-da!
It wasn't.
Hello.
Hi.
Huh? I slide on the screen here. So everybody
I'm ready to be an Oompa Loompa. Let's do this.
Ready to be an Oompa Loompa.
Nobody here is an Oompa Loompa.
All right. Hey everybody, how you doing?
Hi.
Hello.
Hold on.
Oops.
I think it definitely tastes better now.
Hey there, audience. No.
Welcome to
Welcome
my- Welcome to my
neighborhood. Rowan
You want to be our neighbor? All right then. What a hero.
Use my herbal.
Oh god.
Yeah.
All right, hey everybody, I'm Soul Roast. These are my friends. Welcome back to our continuing game of Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, hosted by myself. Anybody got any
Yeah,
announcements?
but,
Anything to say? Anything important to come out? No?
I do.
What's up?
I'm going to be working with Soul here to get some information on Prune. And if you're interested in it, I intend to write some short stories and put them up in our Discord. Yeah.
Neat.
And I have been told by at least 2 people that I'm pretty decent.
I'm pretty decent.
One was my
Shoot for the
Hashtag
stars.
immigrant. No, my mom doesn't read my shit because I don't talk to her. Thanks though. Thanks though.
You don't care.
Band-aids off. Got it. Anyway.
Quit crying.
You want to turn the lights on?
If you just want to
Dark
toss
in
a
here.
subscribe in, we can definitely get you facilitated to that. If that's something you're interested in.
If that's something you're interested in.
I'm not going to assume what you enjoy.
What? What's wrong with it?
We're playing the game now.
I don't know what's up with her.
What is happening?
No, I just
Sex
It's
don't.
gonna make me very self-conscious
Ah,
before we begin.
jeez. I didn't think
That's
about
Gonna do
it.
the DM.
What are you talking about?
Ah!
It's fine. I just can tell you didn't do anything for the beard
I
today.
did.
Wow.
I brushed it.
So you didn't have to
Satan.
bring it up.
I didn't think. It didn't matter.
That's so
I'm
mean.
sorry.
I didn't
Didn't
say I had to
give
play
somebody
with
a compliment.
No, I didn't think it would matter, so I brought it up on the
And
internet.
right as soon as
Sorry.
Have your ears always been like that?
I'm always self-conscious. You can't make me more self-conscious.
That's bad.
Oh my god, yeah.
You made
So worth it.
All right. Well, that was exciting.
Oh my
I do.
god. Ben's right, they're fucking.
What?
What?
You? What's huge? Who's getting huge?
Oh my god, it's good.
What's happening?
Did you do the giveaway?
We're doing a giveaway, a D&D related giveaway, at 200 followers or 10 subs. I want to give a shout out to that host thing right there. It says host.
El Rocco.
Yes, Mr. Rocco. Thanks so much for the host. Actually, where is my telephone?
I don't know.
We actually got 2 more followers
Oh,
that I want
wait,
to.
no.
Yeah, could you grab the phone? It should be on the.
Stay away from my chin.
Knocking over my dice towers.
No need to yell at the dog. He doesn't
This is
know.
important work I'm doing.
I'm so sorry.
Slowly building it up, huh?
Just trying to make these dice things. Oh wait, she's gone. It's my chance.
To do what?
Back wench.
Okay, let me make this so I can
You
give a
can't
shout.
sit down. That wasn't me.
Yes, it was. I blame you.
That was me.
Yeah, I know. Just kicking it.
To
Like Pele over here.
Stop.
Yeah.
All right, so shout out to Comrade Snarky00 and Maylun for giving us a follow.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much. I don't know why it's not showing up on here. It's kind of upsetting.
Because the bot is terrible now that Streamlabs bought it. No.
Maybe.
Did Streamlabs who bought Streamlabs bought Ogbot, that's right.
Wow.
Because they had to find something to do with all their money that they suddenly lost when Twitch introduced bit donations and buying subs for other people.
Yeah.
They did a really good job
Oh,
of
hello.
murdering that company.
Speaking of the devil.
What?
Comrade Snarky, what is going on? Thanks so much for the follow. Definitely appreciate it. I don't know why I wasn't showing up on there, but we got it over here. So everything's good.
Ish.
Ish. Anybody else have any last minute stuff? Before I jump into the jump right in, we're gonna jump right into it.
I'm eating chili.
We're gonna start this party.
Okay.
Darkest timeline? What? Let's do it.
No.
Darkest timeline.
Everybody's dead.
Oh, geez, that would be
No.
The
Everyone's
darkest.
parents are dead. And most of our friends are dead, but we
standard
still
D&D
have to
group.
live.
Standard D&D group.
Because
Hey.
somehow, we just can't.
Yeah.
No.
Mhm.
Every character I've had in this story arc so far has been really tragic.
Right.
One accidentally, and then one just orphans.
And then one intentionally.
All of them are just
Got
orphans.
Got it.
What war were they in?
Well, that's why I'm excited for that Minotaur, because that Minotaur is going to be the first well-adjusted character I've ever had in my life.
Define what it is.
Well,
Um,
because like you got Lycus and he's illiterate, and then my favorite one was Silas, the mage that just kept being reincarnated to heal random parties. So he would die with one party and then just
Oh.
be
Come up with
raised
another
by
one
the
for
god
one
of death. So he's like,
Yeah.
oh, go with that party. So, where am I?
Hello, little puppy. All right.
I loved him.
Oh, that's the wrong
I
one.
still love him. He can come back anytime. That's the beauty of him.
Next time we have one shot.
Yeah, that's what he's there for. He's that cleric. I pull out in one shots. It's just a different race every time.
It's only slightly.
He just keeps
Gets
getting
his-
reincarnated by
He
the
gets
same
his,
druid.
yeah. Well, no, it's the god, and then he pulls his soul up and just throws it in the nearest person and goes, "That's you now."
All right,
So
you
he's
guys,
figuring himself out every time.
who's ready to start this?
He's a southern guy.
I am, because we're really behind.
All right, let's start this party. We are a little behind.
behind. That's fine.
All right, so recap last game.
Yes,
Commander Galus informed the party that they were invited to a banquet being held at the castle. That's right. A celebration event in light of ordinary adventures standing up and defending the city against a dastardly. I wrote the word dastardly, so we're using it. Dastardly cult leader.
Dun, dun, dun.
The party commissioned some clothing and prepared themselves for a night of feast and festivities amongst the Alavran social elite. While at the party, you were introduced to a number of key figures of interest, and you were reintroduced, for some of you, to a lovely young woman who referred to herself only as Satka.
the lady.
And she seemed to be clinging tightly to the arm of the Duke's retainer, Veer.
I swear I wrote that down.
The party enjoyed their food and then were treated to a show of skill between Alavran's very own Duke of Red Glass and the recent champion of the Passage of Arms tournament, Nadril Dalil. After the battle, everyone resumed their meal, and that is where we ended last session. I believe that's where. So you guys were currently winding down the festivities of the sort of gala that was going on.
You know that lady with the stretched mouth that Zeta keeps talking about?
You pointed her out over there, but
She was in the dream with Cameron the hero.
She was there.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, she was in the background and she was smiling.
Hmm.
But she was fake.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that. I remember the young man exploding.
You don't remember going into the dream world.
I remember going into the dream world.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't recall seeing it.
Yeah, you also went.
I did.
And that was after Cameron turned into a real boy.
Possibly.
And he's from here.
Yeah.
Not the bartender. I asked the bartender.
Do you know
I'm not
Brady?
convinced, even though you told us explicitly that he was not the hero.
He's
Still
just super
can't
Don't
embarrassed.
think it is.
He's
Yeah.
embarrassed about it. He doesn't want to bring it up.
Yeah.
See like sweat beads coming down.
Yeah.
Are you Cameron the hero? No.
Like maybe it's
How do you know this?
I have things to get in the
He's
back.
got
That was
like-
40
I
years
need to lay
ago.
down under the zapes and put this bar for a second.
He's got that
Just,
like dried out SpongeBob face. Yeah.
All right, so you guys enjoy some free food.
I would like to inspect the food. I am curious what kinds and what they have. I want to know what rich
An
people eat.
exact
I've never been in a
general.
place that has like a rich quarter that I had access to.
Currently, right now, you can see that they have
Even.
3 full hogs, 1 on each table. Then they have like stacks of like steaks. They have all manner of fixins, potatoes, all the. Basically, if you imagine the scene from Harry Potter when the food just appears magically, it's the whole line of the table is just all manner of bowls and chalices
Is it
and
one
cups and all kinds.
or three?
There are 3 different tables. Currently, the main one where it's kind of like raised up on the stage where the king and everyone else kind of sits, and then you have the 2 long tables where you guys are on one side, and then it's a sort of intermingling of nobility and royalty and.
I don't know why I just picture Robin Hood comes in with a pig and he goes, I brought you a hog.
Because that's what happened. No.
What? We can do
Suddenly.
I would like to saunter over to one of the main tables.
You're at one of them. You're sitting on one.
Oh, we are. One of
Oh
the main
yeah.
ones?
There's only 3 big ones.
Yeah.
And yeah, you
Is
want.
there other ones?
All right, I would like to. I assume people are walking and mingling. We're not sitting down to a meal right now, right?
Not right now. The
Okay.
sitting portion is ended. Now people
we're
can
gonna
like
be
get up. No, there's still eating going on, but it's just not the primary.
How do the pigs look?
Good, man. They've been picked apart a little bit, but with the amount of people and the size of these things, there's no way they're going to get through them right now.
I
So.
would like to go to the nearest pig and strike up a lengthy conversation with it.
All right, fair enough. Theta saunters over to the middle of his table, kind of turns and looks at it. This sort of like dead face that's just like apple, still in it, and you're just like,
Hello. It's a lovely meeting.
I'm gonna go.
I'm over here just talking.
Ah, the unrefined. If there's a drink
Roll a
somewhere.
deception check.
Oh, me too.
I think it's funny.
If there's like a drink nearby, I'll grab
I'm being true to me.
it. I know.
What are you guys
I'm
doing?
gonna discuss
I
how
am
pig like
eating
how majestic it
From
is.
the
that
2
it's-
plates I have, one that I stole from him.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No, he's
That's
dead
right.
now.
Oh, so he's dead.
Watching this whole thing unfold,
Very strangely, as people kind of
Just-
like walking in between you guys and
just
talk amongst
wondering.
themselves.
I'm gonna have a whole conversation about how lucky the pig is to have spent its final moments in this wonderful quarter of town, and how it should be honored to be at this table. Like, look how nice this table is. Look how lovely. Sorry about the earthquake. Look how lovely the
Don't mind me.
the tablecloth is, and the fine quality of the silverware that it's currently being consumed with.
I like it.
I really just explained to the pig why it's there are much worse ways to go. We've seen them.
Is this why adventurers have such a bad rap? Anyway, I'm gonna return my focus to the young lady that my teammates seem to assume is some manner.
Yeah, I want to keep an eye on her.
Some manner of evil
I-
vixen.
I believe them,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't believe them. I think maybe they're just mistaken.
The only person that had like a true up and close counter with her was
And
you like a
And I'm a super reliable
when
narrator.
she
so.
straight up walked up to him.
unfortunately for me, Theta has yet to be wrong about anything aside from the weird thing on the rooftop. But
Yeah,
everybody gets a pass.
pass this to the DM. I just want you to read my note on this one. Wait, what?
Oh God.
Guys said
So
that.
good. Terrible. Okay, so you're gonna keep your eye on her.
Yep.
All right, fair enough. So the festivities continue. At which point, as the sort of like conversation piece begins to die, people kind of like are mingling in and out. Some people begin to leave. The band goes into full swing, and people begin to dance in the center floor together.
So if that happens, I'm going to start to watch that transfixed. I will completely, I'll rudely trail off and ignore my hog fest.
Your hog companion. He was
Doesn't
really
really
into that conversation.
help, but Celiana saw that she had like a weird face at one point.
She did.
Silly, I was not here.
I wonder if she was here. She could tell us.
She'd be freaked out.
But quietly freaked out.
Eternally freaked out. Can I just see if I hear like any interesting conversations going on as I'm like walking around the room?
Sure. Go ahead and make a perception check, please.
Natural one.
Natural one.
Thank
Yep.
you.
You hear all kinds of interesting
Like that
conversations. There's like amongst the chatter, you can hear little bits of, like, oh my God, he was with so and so. How disgusting, right? I heard he was with a commoner.
The
Right.
unrefined.
I was
I
worried
think I'll say that at one point and then move on.
I was worried that a natural one, you're walking and you hear all these conversations and you can't make out anything except for one. And it seems to be all the way across the room. And you hear a man clearly describing the inflammation in his genitals and how the sores have gotten worse.
I was going to say that.
Ah.
Funny you say that.
Should have rolled.
Really need to go to the cleric.
But
yes, no, that is the information that you were able to gather.
I just wanted to like listen in general. I wanted to listen for that kind of shit. Like I wasn't
Well,
trying to
that's
like pick up good.
Have
I-
Satka and Shar, not Shar,
Not sure as in
Weird.
not Shar
Beer.
Asnable,
Beer.
started dancing. That's right.
Turkey leg.
No.
Turkey leg.
Yes, they have.
Yo, where did I write these down?
Turkey
I
leg.
don't know if you did.
I did. I
I
totally
believe
wrote
you.
shit
I'll
down.
just-
Yep. No, that's no.
I would like.
I'm pretty full.
That's the
I
honest
ate a
sheet.
whole fowl.
No.
I want to go through the crowd in a.
Don't worry.
Obviously, stealthing's not going to happen, but I want to be
I know shit.
stealth.
You're gonna be stealthy?
I want to blend into the crowd as much as possible, keeping an eye on
Okay.
I'm
Make a
making my
deception check.
way in a way
That's gonna be
that's
good.
I want to circle around, and so as soon as she finishes dancing, I'd like to ask her for a dance. And so I want
Make a
to
deception check, please. That is how you do that.
Does it have to be deception?
Correct.
Can I roll again?
What is it?
It's not good.
Well, I mean, you have decent.
We're just gonna
charisma.
climb up the numbers today, guys.
We're gonna start at 1 and we'll work our way up until
until
everyone
something
dies. Most likely.
Yay!
Hey, not that everyone will die. We just want to be successful.
Deception is 7.
Okay, so you kind of like make your way through the crowd. You follow some of the lines of people that are kind of maneuvering their way around the outside, kind of attempting to be nonchalant about it, but
Yes.
keeping your eye on where you're kind of you're looking for, essentially. But yeah, you make your way around the outside towards the right-hand side of the room,
Just gonna post up on the wall until she finishes.
dancing. Okay, sure.
And then
Anybody
make
else?
the approach.
It's a black notebook.
Handing out birds to people.
Yeah, well, just fucking legs. Bird legs.
Breaking bird hips.
One surprisingly portly man in a very tight-looking noble gown. He's like, "Oh, all right, thank you."
How do you spell beard?
Vier.
Thank you.
Like
It wasn't that easy.
Yeah.
And he's the bodyguard for the
Yes,
Duke
he's
of
a, he's,
Squalor?
Maybe
yes,
I'll leave it alone.
he's a retainer. Yes.
No, we have Sinhala, which is.
I swear to God, I wrote these
Superman.
down. I think I had a separate sheet of paper and I fucking lost it.
Somewhere.
Yeah, he's retainer for who?
Oh yeah.
Because he's super jacked.
Sibel.
So
Matthias. Seville.
Thank you. Matt.
I picture
So,
the guy from either. What the fuck is it called?
good enough.
All right.
I'd like to watch the dance transfixed and start
Oh,
to
what's his
try
name?
in like a minor
Yeah.
way,
Really cute.
mimicking their movements and trying to
Super
figure out how they dance and things like that. I'm also gonna look. Are there people my size in the crowd? Are there gnomes or half? Okay.
There is actually a dwarven woman. She's not dancing currently, but she is standing there rather dour.
Oh man, like in a cartoon, I want to sidestep my way over to her. So like staring at the same point she's staring at, and just
Getting closer.
Are you also watching the dancing while you're doing
Yeah,
it?
I assume she's pointed towards the dance floor. She's not like staring at a stained glass window and singing
Okay, I
tears
bet I
out
can
her
make
face
it.
or something, right?
I can make it out that window.
You remember her from earlier, kind of coming in a little bit angrily. She looked like she didn't want to be there.
And then she
I'm
got
gonna
a
go blame
compliment
her.
forced on her.
Yeah, she's the. You remember her being introduced as a baroness.
Oh.
She's a baroness of Gromber.
Oh yeah, that's you.
Am I next to her?
You're making your way over there.
Okay.
I'm gonna get some other people an
Alright,
opportunity.
cool.
Handing out food. What are you doing down there?
I'm watching it.
You're watching him hand out food, just
It's finally full.
Dealing drumsticks.
dealing drumsticks. Are you amazed?
I heard
that
you-
it's full?
I heard you want some turkey legs.
Yeah.
What are
Honestly,
you lying?
He's selling. All right, here we go. Let me get the.
He was on the Express Life. He was a merchant.
Okay, so you you sidestep your way. Make a go ahead and make a deception check. Please.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I'll make it.
There's a lot of deception going on.
Flat 10. Alright, am I good at deception? No.
I think your charisma is shit.
It is. So that's a 10. So with my charisma bonus, that's a 10.
10. All right. So as you start like sliding down, she seems kind of like staring at the crowd. She's a heavy-set looking dwarven woman, large nose. Her hair is this like deep brown that's mostly braided around her scalp currently, and comes down into 3 large pigtails, 1 down the center, 2 over the shoulders.
Sure.
Um,
Standard Gimli configuration, got it.
Yeah, she's currently wearing what appears to be like a nice dress. She has like these green eyes that almost glow in the light, and then she has like freckles across the front of her face. She's kind of like, and then you, whoop, she does not seem to notice you as you slide up next to her.
I'm gonna watch the dancing for a minute. I'm
Okay.
gonna spend an appropriate amount of time and say,
Okay.
hello.
She kind of like jumps to the side for a moment, just like surprised and not really like paying attention.
Wait, are they eye level or is she looking at me?
She's like 4'2",
Yeah, she's
Okay.
a little taller than me.
and she's kind of like staring at you like. Yes,
Why aren't you dancing?
I haven't been asked.
Oh, would you like to dance?
No, I don't know. She's kind of like looking. She's admiring the craftsmanship.
And it
it's
looks
like,
real good. I buffed myself.
Yeah.
hard.
Until he falls asleep.
buff himself so hard.
If you're new to the stream, I'm a robot.
Little Modron. At which point, see, she's mulling the idea over.
What else is she gonna do? Come on.
Initiate smile, not EXP.
Let's dance with the guy.
Appreciate charming smile.
Make
Make a deception.
a charisma check. Just a
Sure.
flat
Oh man.
Wow! 11.
11.
I missed my dice tray. Anyway,
She stands there for a moment, and then she's kind of mulling it back and forth. But then she's like, there seems to be like a dawning light before she's like, no, thank you.
oh, that's okay. I don't know the steps. So, what brings you here? I'm gonna have this conversation.
This
Still, you want to dance?
Sure you don't want to
And
dance?
she,
No, my
Yeah.
plan was if she wanted to dance, I was gonna take her out and dance, have the conversation while we dance. I thought that would be appropriate, be like True Lies or some shit, and then, especially depending on my performance check for the dance, I was very curious to see that one.
You were robbed.
But yeah, what brings you here?
You notice as you kind of mentioned that, her like whole demeanor kind of drops. There's like the looming sort of feeling. Force, mostly. Have to be here. She kind of like stares angrily at the crowd as the music kind of comes back
I've
up.
had to be places before. Usually I try to make the best of it. What do you like to do?
Not be here.
Well, I assume so, but besides that, you have
Anything
hobbies,
but
crafts, trade,
She kind of like
husband.
snaps out of it for a minute and she looks back. She's like, I enjoy running my city.
You run a whole city? Wow, that's incredible. What's the best part about
You
it?
can almost see the.
During the war.
That's a whole different thing.
the
She
other
begins to describe to you sort of in like a sort of like dreamy haze, some of the architecture and the way that they have their inner walls set up. So like the way that they've carved their city out is basically a tiered sanctum
Mhm.
where when you come in, you can actually see down into like these large rings that they've carved out of the stone. And then she talks about, there's a little bit of hint that she might have had a higher station before being assimilated into like the Elabran country, essentially. But for the most part,
She was a god king and now she's just barely a king.
essentially, she used to be the queen of the city and now she's just a baroness under the rule of the Elabran Central.
Well, that all sounds lovely. My name is Theta, and it is a pleasure to meet you. What was your name again?
Beryl,
Beryl.
Black Mountain.
Black Mountain. Very strong name. Thank you. Pleasure to meet you. And where are you from?
Gromberg.
Gromberg. I'm from a very far away land.
She
It is pretty far.
doesn't seem to know where that is.
Oh, it's across the water. I'm going to take a second. I'm going to pop my arm open. I'm looking at my compass to go that way.
Turns.
No, like very that way. Like months that way on a boat. So why do you have to be here?
Somebody needed to represent the city.
You didn't have any people you could send? Usually I'm a people can send. So I'm used to having, knowing those people. You didn't have anybody that you could just throw it in a carriage?
It wasn't really an option.
Darky leg.
You're dwarves, right? Sorry, I'm terrible with races. They all look the same, except for the tieflings. Those ones are easy to spot. Hold on, and I'm gonna dig in my front butt, and and I'm gonna pull out one of those gems.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull out one of those gems from the Mechanist, and I'm actually gonna try to make I'm trying to hold out my hands with nothing in them, and then make it appear.
Shit.
I don't know if I'm gonna be
Magic
able to
trick?
do that.
Go ahead. Make a sleight of hand check.
Hell yeah, natural 20.
This is what it's all for.
Cheap
Sleight of
magic
hand,
tricks.
So 26.
So with very like standing side by side, music playing all around
Oh
you,
shit.
you take a minute and then you turn away from her and crouch over for a minute. She kind of like tries to look at what you're doing, and then there's some rummaging sounds,
Somebody's shaking a backpack.
and then you turn back around. At which point she kind of like jumps back for a minute, and then you're just like da da da, and it's out of nowhere. Just,
Here. I don't know if this will interest you. I don't know if it does anything or is worth anything, but it's from my home. And he looks sad, and I feel like you could use it to cheering up.
she takes it.
Did you try the pig? He tells me he's very good.
I did.
Good.
She nods, and then she.
Turkey leg.
Did they get
Why?
married?
They get married. Anyway,
You ever seen a steam-driven piston?
That's what she's like.
Yeah, I know. I can't handle it.
All right. So, as you finish up your conversation, the music comes into a lull for a minute. A couple people begin to separate out, and then the from the left-hand side. Just turn my head, and that's what I get. The music dies down, and you see they kind of like start heading back towards the outer edge, Sotka and Veer.
Is it leaving the room or?
No, they just head out to the outside edge of the dance floor. Some other people begin coming in. The music takes like a dip though, and they kind of like talk,
New
and
songs
then you can see like the cellos kind of like pick up a little bit.
The dancing, is it couples dancing, or is it like traditional line dancing, or is it like that group dancing where everybody makes a grid and then does a thing?
Right now it's just individual.
Oh, it's like couples?
Yeah.
Cool. It's not like a dance that all these nobles, of course, know, and we're just like, oh yes, of course,
Yeah,
those
okay.
steps. The 13,
Yes.
the 13 step spin. It's been so long.
Correct.
Like,
I'll stand by, give it a song, and then just see, just kind of hang close without wallflower close.
Wallflower
Like
close?
standing up.
From what you notice, there's a lot of she bumps into him, she giggles, she stays close to him.
Yeah.
She kind of keeps his attention by like maneuvering around the back of him, you know, almost like this dizzying sort of dance that she does around the outside.
Mhm.
But at everything he says, she kind of like, you can see her kind of like laugh.
I've seen gold diggers.
And then I went to the war.
fair enough.
And then I went to the war.
Yes, and that's when I found out my father was beating my mother.
That's so great.
My God, it's hilarious.
Oh my god.
It's the only way to keep them in line.
That's crazy. Oh my god.
Was she a valley girl?
I guess so.
She is now.
Valley, possibly.
So you wait, and then what?
When the next song gets to kicking up, very casually, nonchalantly make my way over and ask her if she would like to dance. Well, first, approach Mr. Veer. My lord, Veer, good evening, sir.
He's kind of like distracted, but as you talk, he's like, yes.
Does he look alright?
Make an insight check.
He looks like he has a raging emotion.
12.
12. Looking at him, he seems for the most part fine. You can't really see through the visor, but he's had pretty much the same expression on. He doesn't seem to like smile or anything.
Right.
But as he stands there, how tall are you?
I am just north 5'6".
5'6". So he stands a couple inches solid over you. And as he kind of stands there, she's kind of like pulling on his arm. You can see her eyes kind of going back and forth between the two of you. At which point he's like, yes, what can I help you with?
Well, first, I just wanted to commend my lord Sullivan, Subil. It was a very impressive display earlier. And if you were perhaps a bit tired, I wanted to know if your lady friend would mind a dance.
He puts his hand out. You can see that there's a moment where her eyes kind of narrow, and then she immediately is just like, I would love to.
Thank you.
Kind of go out. He takes a step back, and she kind of looks to him for a minute, looks back to you, and then joins you on the dance floor.
Fantastic.
Okay, what you doing?
Well, we're gonna dance for a little bit.
Okay.
Horizontal tango, please.
Whoa.
Make
Just give it out.
make a performance check, please.
Hey, it wasn't great.
Yeah,
I just want to throw this out here before I get the natural one. It'd be cool if this worked.
20.
Sweet. 21.
Nice.
One. All right. What are you doing?
Well, we're just doing. I'm gonna mimic whatever the fuck is going on.
Popular going on right now.
Because I don't think I would know. I don't know shit.
Think for yourself.
I know only one thing that my mother taught me, and it's Sanmani, and there's no way this bitch knows. And if she does, then I know she's a demon.
As you
you
join hands all the way out to the dance floor, you begin to kind of go through the standard motions. You start off slow on either side of each other, and kind of like keeping your eyes going to like what's going on around you. You seamlessly begin to mimic the dance around you. And as you do, you notice that she seems to be stumbling a little bit. She seems to be kind of looking away and then looking back at you. At one point, she steps on your foot. She's like, "Oh shit, sorry." But yeah, you guys dance around for a minute.
You know, you seem quite taken with Lord Veer.
Yes, he's quite handsome.
He is. He's extremely handsome. But as I recall, you were with a young man last I saw you. What's his name again?
Caleb.
No, was it Caleb?
Yeah.
It was Caleb.
Caleb
I say it all the time. I said it twice tonight.
There it is.
Not like tonight, but in the game
Caleb. I
tonight.
did write it down.
We both said it.
The pencil on the other side's starting to fade.
Caleb Osborne, magic man that went
She
explode.
smiles and she's like, I don't know what you mean. And she keeps dancing.
That's very strange. Very strange indeed. Well, I mean, how long have you been here in the city?
My whole life.
Oh. Well, then surely you remember the young lad that blew up in the city on Monolith Street. Caused a lot of devastation. You have to be, I don't know, not in town to remember that.
I imagine her dancing.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were doing down there.
As you're both doing, yeah, you meet each other, having this conversation.
It's lovely.
That's
And
exactly
the
what
couple
you guys
next to
do.
you is like, what the fuck are you talking about? This nice banquet.
Oh my. She's
Oh,
like,
I remember that.
The, as she's dancing, she's like, "Do you mean the magic storm? That was, that was quite dreadful. I had to stay in."
Yes. It was very dreadful. I was front and center for it. And, I wouldn't typically bring this up, but I recall seeing you with the young lad that I was standing in front of when he exploded. And would you know, the damnedest thing happened. He said you made him do it.
Clap.
Clap, clap. She just smiles sweetly. She's like,
Inside.
Let's go ahead. Make an insight.
Inside.
13.
That's
It
not
is
terrible.
13.
It's not a 7.
13.
Or 1.
She's really hard to read.
Oh, wow.
She
She's
she
good
seems
at this.
genuine. She seems forthcoming.
You should put it
She's
in.
even kind of like being tolerant of the whole accusatory thing. She's just like, oh no,
She's a sweet girl from the country.
Sweet
Something to
girl.
do with inviting you to dance.
Perhaps it was someone else then.
oh, you know she's full of shit. But yeah, but you just can't get anything out of her at all.
She's like
Put a
Mother
ring on it.
Teresa.
Well, we'll finish.
Put a ring on it.
Yeah.
Start it.
We're getting married.
I'll leave it at, well, then I'm terribly sorry. I must be deeply mistaken. And then finish the dance.
Okay.
I will bow to her and release her back to,
She curtsies.
escort her back to Veer.
As you approach, she's kind of like laughing very sweetly. And then
Turkey leg.
It's up.
And then I'll thank Lord Veer.
Pig leg.
And I'll just
Pig
move on
leg.
to the wall again.
Snout.
At which point she continues kind of like her, this like courtly type.
Alright, I'll look
Activity.
for
No.
my tiny robot friend.
Turkey leg.
Tiny robot friend.
I'm
Easy to
standing
spot.
forlorn watching the dance, having just been abandoned by a Mormon woman. Looking perplexed.
Come over.
You did. She exited
Yeah.
out the.
Yeah, I saw her go. I let her go.
Data! You,
Hello.
You seem upset.
No, confused. Dwarf. Tried to talk to her. She didn't seem to want to talk. But I talked.
That'll
She
happen.
talked back.
That'll happen.
She said she was forced to be here.
Politics. Politics.
Wow.
Plopple.
What's apologetic?
It's like a regular dick.
Have
only
you
worse.
been drinking?
No, ironically enough, but I did dance with the alleged demon.
Did she kill you?
No. No.
Yeah.
Are you going to blow up?
They would know.
Right. Anyway, no.
If there's a timer, I'd like to know about it.
She seems deeply, deeply full of shit, but I can't get a read on her.
Where's she now?
She's over with Veer, dancing around him. Doing,
Gayla's still watching her?
I don't know.
Perception check.
Okay. Not terrible. 15.
You see him talking to another gentleman in plate mail, and they seem to like discuss back and forth. And there's a moment where you very clearly see the other guy kind of
Surreptitiously.
yeah,
Cool.
and then go back.
I've been calculating.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier. I got distracted by the dance, and the take was nice. But sorry, it's really funny to me. But there's nothing I can do in this setting that won't get me thrown out of the city.
Yes.
Yes. But I thought about it first,
Okay.
and yeah, no, I don't. But they seem to be Galus and et al. Are paying attention somewhat, and I mean, if beer explodes, then nobody will be surprised. I mean, Veer will probably be surprised.
I imagine everybody in the room is going to be surprised.
Well, yeah, but it was like way later in the day because we saw Caleb that morning,
Yes.
and then he had a fun time, and there's the black magic circle with the wax in the nasty room,
Mm.
and then later he had the pop, and so I mean I don't there's nothing we can do. We've told the people we can tell, but this is the wrong place to stab someone. So
Yes. No. Absolutely. Although I suppose
that was
we're not-
only one of very many avenues I was looking at
Well, I'm glad you didn't take it.
yet.
There is time.
Yeah, well there is. There's just too many people here and not enough shadows. Well, I'm gonna go stab her.
I mean, I don't know.
Excuse me, guys.
It's done.
I don't know that we'll
Baby's
be
arrested.
lucky enough for her to just.
I'm
do-
going back to the nice place. I learned to whistle there.
I'm gonna learn to dance now.
I don't know that we'll be able to coax her into doing whatever it is she intends to do here.
Probably not if she's evil.
Man, that'd be nice though.
I mean, but that no.
No, it would be terrible for everybody here, but at least then we could handle it now with the aid of guards. And I mean, you saw Seville.
There'll be one less fear in the world, though.
I don't want him to explode. I was kind of counting on her just, I don't know, going full demon and saying, "Ah, curses, you got me." But it
But
didn't work.
again,
Yeah, evil's hard.
Have I heard of a way to expose evil in my travels through Yarmungandr, maybe with the sailors or anything like that?
Expose evil.
Yeah. Like like you throw holy water on a demon, shit like that. Even if it's a wives' tale. Down.
Well, if you pour pig's blood on a girl,
She becomes a demon.
Ruins the prom.
Yeah. I mean,
What makes it better for
Yes.
everyone except her?
standard stuff that everybody's heard, like the can't escape circles, things like that.
Can't escape circles.
Lots of something
I'm
to say.
sure to tell us this. This is important.
And holy water invocations.
I mean, there's many ways to find out she's evil. Are we sure she's evil though? What if she's just a bad person? What if she's just a normal person with bad magic?
Theta,
Yes.
you are tentatively that I am aware of the only person that saw her do anything evil.
She was creepy. Her face did something funny. I can't remember what it was. It was forever ago.
Right, I didn't see that.
Also, a man exploded. Kind of took up a lot of my attention.
Yes, so you were the only one to see her. I didn't. I'm only operating on the assumption that you're not lying to me, and I trust you. So,
I have no reason to lie to you
right.
about this. That would be silly.
So, then, if at all possible, I'd like to expose her as soon as possible without anybody blowing up.
And let's Taylor.
Right. Well, what do you have any way to just, I don't know, expose anything? Is that common knowledge, or would that just?
I mean, I could stab her.
I really prefer not.
I understand that, but it's an avenue that I looked at.
Yes. No, you explained that, and I understand that. They're like a less, a more innocuous way of doing it.
Not to my knowledge. We could draw a circle around it, but that would be pretty obvious.
Just run up to her and like,
Excuse me, what are you doing?
Of course.
No. What if we put one around the outside of the building?
That's a big circle. Oh my god.
Everybody's in
But what if
here,
Yeah.
And
What are
if
we gonna
she-
make it out of?
it's like
just in the dirt.
It's not all dirt. There's walkways, there's stone, there's mortar, there's that guy in the armor that likes to kill people for disagreeing with him.
Oh yeah.
I don't think we're gonna be able to just
This guy in the
draw a
armor was
circle.
gonna go through him? For some reason, I
He's
just
watching
imagine
the
him
front.
standing right where you
yeah,
need to do it.
like don't touch
He's like,
that. Stabs you to death.
Just cut to
Walks
one
away.
of his feet. This is important.
Wow.
oh, what?
I have 3/4 of the building to do, but I'm starting here.
Get this out.
This is the starting point.
Don't move now.
Now, don't move. I'm gonna have to come back for more of this blood because I started it with this. I gotta keep going.
High Confessor, that's his name.
Fair enough.
Do you think he knows a way to find out about evil people? I'm gonna go ask him. Excuse me.
Oh no.
I'm gonna make my way to the front of the thing
Bye, Theta.
without just.
All right. Good.
I'm gone.
Good luck. Good time.
I may have killed this.
Baller.
I may have killed this.
So he runs out. What are you guys doing?
Just kind of keep an eye on Aaron Taylor if I have to. I don't know.
You get like a couple people are like take them, but most people kind of like ugh. and they
I'm
get
really full.
Maybe you should
I have
go down.
all these drumsticks.
Unless you're saving it for later, but I think you should get a bag with you.
How long ago was the last war that we had?
These pants have
the
really
last
tiny
war
pockets.
here
Yeah.
was the war against Gromber.
Oh.
Technically, the state is still at war with the Drow
Okay.
and Hobgoblins to the north, but
And where's Gromer?
Gromber's to the south. It's about midway.
Okay.
So like Alabra kind of makes a angle.
Okay.
So Fort Coronas is the most south point in the Alabran continent. It's like right outside of Arbol, the Arbol stronghold. But that area is constantly hit by the Drow. And then you have in the north end by Sin Hollow is constantly under attack from the mountains where there's a Hobgoblin stronghold. Gromber emerged like relatively unknown. Nobody knew that they were there. But when they were discovered, they were basically in the middle of a whole other country.
Lavra. And they were like, well, I guess you're a Lavra now. We're not going to make a South Africa out of you, so
Yeah.
get on the boat.
They were like, you're not annexed. So and they were like, oh. So they tried to go to war, but with the full might of the Alabran military against.
Inside the Lavran borders.
Yeah, you're pretty much surrounded.
Gotcha.
They eventually surrendered.
Good to know. That makes that conversation a little sadder. Faye doesn't know any of this, so we're good.
But it was like 6, 7 years ago.
Okay.
About.
Well, in case I need to weave a backstory.
They just need some lore going on.
yeah.
In case
Got
I
it.
need to rub elbows.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you hang out, you run out to the High Confessor, you
Whenever I saw him sitting like
have your hand on the table and just getting the meat sweats.
Oh no! Does he got like a little food baby going on?
No, he has a big foot baby.
And
It's just
then
nice
you're
to
hanging
see.
out with him.
It's Gotta 8 hang on months them. I
along.
want to keep an eye on soccer, though.
Okay.
That was the original plan from.
Make a perception check. Or if you're trying to do it stealthily, make a deception check.
Deception.
Alright. I was gonna say perception. You just be like,
I'm not doing anything.
I want to lock eyes with her and maintain eye contact.
Huh?
25.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Nice.
You manage to keep. You're kind of like you have this like air going on that you're like tending to Zongak, but you just basically keeping a solid focus on Sokka, which
of
is
course, those noble bastards. Oh, look at the
Um,
tiefling taking care of the goblin.
It's like a show.
What a monster he is. Both of them.
Oh,
For some reason now everybody just has like this nice big orange mustache.
Smashing.
Zaza.
what are you doing?
I'm still trying to find like a conversation that's like interesting, because I don't really care about the demon thing. So.
All right,
I just want to talk to rich bitches.
make another perception check.
All right. Perception.
Mm-hmm.
That was so good.
9.
Nice. As you're trying to eavesdrop and you're walking with your cup, a couple things like strike out at you. Just little chatter coming in that seems more gossipy and interesting. One guy's like, yeah, and then the tip was kind of like coming off, you know, and you turn to him and then you run straight into a large gentleman.
Oh, like
It is.
large or
Yeah,
large?
tall,
Is he hot?
wide. Not really.
Okay.
He's about 6'1". You've seen him before. He's got like a burn on his face.
Oh yeah, that dude.
He's kind of like got this big blocky smile.
Oh,
as
he's
you,
the dude!
as you bump right into him, he's just like, "Oh,
It's a really good thing I didn't bump into him.
hey,
He's the dude.
hey there, little one."
Hold on, I'm trying to look at his name.
Lord of Sin Hollow.
I meant to write
Is
him
it
down.
Declare.
No, I
It
didn't.
is.
Declare.
Oh, declare. Oh,
Sean Declare?
did Duke declare? And I do a bow. How are you this evening?
Fantastic.
Okay.
How's your face? I mean,
Ooh!
One thing.
You have nice hair. Shit.
Yes. No. What are you staying in Alabra for a while or just the evening?
Just for a couple days.
Oh, okay. There's not really anything to note.
And what's your name?
Oh, Lucrezia Fosslin.
Yeah, he takes your hand. He kisses it.
Oh
Wow.
my! Oh,
Big towering
I
individual.
don't have a fan.
You stand yourself. He kind of like
Excuse me.
hands.
Sure.
He kind of like takes your hand.
Okay.
Very big, meaty, like rough hand. Just kind of
I have
grabs
a
onto
Barbie
it.
doll.
You notice that he has like one glove on one of his hands and his other one's like exposed. And
Okay.
takes you
Okay.
onto the dance floor
Look.
with his nice like sort of dress uniform on. He has like this coat over top that he's currently wearing, and he go ahead and make a performance check.
Can you just stand on his feet?
Hey,
What is he, your dad?
what is that?
Oh, 15. Okay.
That's
well,
okay.
well,
There's a glare and it's gold numbers on
Yeah.
white and red. Couldn't tell.
Hey, dude, declare. How's your don't say face.
17. As you guys begin dancing around, you realize that he's not good at this, and he's not stepping on your feet. You start slow on the outside, and you begin to make. But
Okay.
he's like more having fun, which is the spirit of it. He's like laughing, and he's bumping into people like, "Oh, sorry about
My
that."
kind of guy.
And most people are like, they try to like avoid him. There's a couple disapproving looks, but as he turns to them, they're kind of like, like, "Oh, look what you're doing."
Yeah.
But he's
I'll-
just got
don't
like
kill me.
this big smile. on
I'll
his
kind
face.
of enjoy it too. Like I won't care as much that like people.
Yeah,
Okay.
and, like, he's like laughing and
Throwing yourself.
Am I
forward,
technically
this
like
way.
leading though, or no?
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
he's kind of all over the place, you know.
He's over here trying
He's
to do
doing
a
the
jive hop.
Seinfeld leg kick occasionally. No fucks given. Like,
Okay.
he's just enjoying himself.
Yeah.
He's been rolling
And
the
I
dice
will
for
do-
way too long.
I'll do the same thing then.
You guys have a little jaunt.
Rip roaring time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have fun
Slide
with
to
this
the
thing.
left. Slide to the right.
Crisscross.
Nobody's
All right.
doing the dance right now.
Bow, bow.
So you scurry out the front door. A couple of the servants
Excuse me.
kind of like greet you as you go. Like,
Oh,
"Sir,
hello.
sir."
Each one of them. Hello. Goodbye. Hello. Goodbye.
You exit out into the open air. It's nice, night sky. In the distance, you can see the little arcane brazier on the far end of town.
Oh, the where
Tiresias
Tiresias
is
sits.
home.
The whole, basically from the patrician's district up, the topography slowly inclines.
Sure.
And so the
Outside
castle is it's like one of the tallest points in the city. And as you look around,
Probably real pretty.
Mhm.
Like look over the city. It's
yeah,
quite
you can
gorgeous.
see everything.
Yeah.
All the way down. As you look, you can see people are kind of like touring the garden a bit. Some people sitting on benches currently. They're kind of just enjoying the night air. You take a cursory look around, and you see on the far end, currently like sitting on the steps to the little altar to Altea is the High Confessor.
All right, I'm gonna head over there.
You scurry across the courtyard, garnering attention from a couple of the people.
It'll be awesome if it works.
Yeah, it will.
Okay, what's up?
Okay, I'm gonna keep respectful distance, probably like 3 feet from the altar, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I will lightly attempt to do what I've heard other people do when they want to get someone's attention, which is clear their throat. But I'm not really sure. Just
Make a performance.
8 plus performance, which
whistle
is
now.
0.
So
I
8.
don't whistle the High Confessor. You're not some trick on the
Maybe
street.
you like it.
No, he's a
As
trick
you,
on the
as you approach, you stop
Try to politely,
and you go, "Hey!" And there's a definite pause, and you get the sense that he knows you're there. You can't tell due to the solid plate, but he's
so
just
that
like
shift of the
you
shoulders.
just see the the head tilt to one side, and then his whole kind of like head turns towards you for a minute, and he's just like, "Yes,
Hello. We met before.
yes."
Yes. I like your armor. I have a concern.
Okay.
Do you remember Caleb? The gentleman who exploded. in the town where the
Monolith
thing
Street.
storm, and then he.
Yes.
So, I was around at the time. I was very close when that happened, actually. But before that, I saw him walking with a young woman, and something seemed off about her. And then he exploded. And before he exploded, just before, he said, "She made me do it." It's the only thing that any of us heard in our little band of adventurers who were there. And so we went and looked in his house. We found his house where he was fucking this girl. And I don't know. They're together and doing things. But we went in and there was like black summoning circles and stuff. We reported it to Commander Galus and they sent a bunch of people in to look at it. But there was like wax and evil and things. And it was a concern. And then I kind of forgot about some of it because, Guard was dealing with it. But the woman who was with Caleb is here tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And she's with... I don't know his name. I'm thinking about it.
Oh, okay.
She's with the retainer for Seville, manservant, bodyguard, whatever he is, Mr. Veer. But she's here. And I've informed the commander about it in case, but I don't know if she's evil or if she's just a bad person or if she's a regular person with bad magic or if I don't know how any of that works. I don't do a lot of magic myself. So, but I thought if anybody knew how to tell if somebody was evil, it might be you.
Zombie feet.
He stands up and kind of there's like a stretch. You can hear the plates of his
Oh, that
armor
feels great.
kind of like shifting around. At which point he steps out of the way, and there's a moment of strange air. There's like a silence where he just goes kind of still and looks almost statuesque for a moment. At which point he points to the temple. Ask yourself. He points to the relief of the Altea pointing skyward.
Did he get down off of it?
He did. He stepped off.
How was he sitting?
He was sitting with his
Cross-legged?
back to it, but he had his feet on the lower rungs. He had his hands on his knees, and he was just kind of like sitting.
I will copy that.
Okay.
Do my feet touch the lower rungs?
Yeah, it's not that far.
Okay,
There's
cool.
like a couple steps.
Okay, cool. And I'm going to close my eyes. Close my eye. And in my head, I'm just going to ask out to pretty much Cog, you know what I know, say, is this woman evil? And I'm going to put a very clear picture in my head, and then like what I saw her doing last, like probably dancing.
Okay.
And I'm going to throw that out into the ether.
Smited.
Okay.
Congratulations, you're a paladin now. Whoa.
As you sit there, there's a moment of silence. You feel the breeze blow by. You don't feel any different, sense anything different. And the High Confessor just stands there, waiting.
I don't know. Stand up and look at him. I guess it didn't work.
I think you got your answer.
Oh. Fuck, that's deep. Thank you. And I'm very contemplative, gonna slowly make my way back to the party.
He stands there for a minute, he watches you go. And then after a few moments, you head back inside.
And you can't see it, but he smiles. Hearts and minds. Hearts and minds. We got another one, I'll tell you.
I'm having a good long think about this.
Okay. So you enter back inside. There's a moment, a couple people say hi. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like oh man.
He's casting a spell.
Get him!
I don't have an answer. How do I have an answer? Is that my answer?
What is an answer?
No, he understands that.
Yeah.
He's rocked by the idea that a god not talking to you can be the answer, because the only time he's had answers is when Cog talked to him. And Cog didn't ever talk to him by not talking to him, but this guy seems very certain that that's how God talks to you, and he's having an interesting time going, well, wait, so how many times did Cog not talk to me when it was the thing? Oh, God. He's cataloging his life
I've been there.
backwards, going, all right, let's see what of this may have also been divine intervention. Jesus.
So, the party begins to wind down. Lucrezia, your dance eventually comes to an end. The dude kind of laughing, it's like, that was fun.
Yeah, if you don't find anything else to do, you should come by that mysterious chimney and we'll drink sometime.
Like a plan.
All right.
Heads up.
Come slumming it.
Yeah.
As he stands there and you're like talking, you see he kind of perks his head up and somebody seems to be flagging him down. So he's like,
Who dat?
"Oh, excuse me."
Who's flagging down?
It seems to be one of the guards currently. He's like,
Some slut.
"Sir." And he's like, "Oh."
Yeah, I'll watch for a little bit.
And
That
he
direction.
heads out and walks away.
After I finish my meat sweats,
When you get settled,
I'm gonna scan the room for Katana Man.
for Matthias.
Yeah.
Yep. Looking around, make a perception check, please.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna move around. Having seen her dance, I'm gonna move around to her side.
Mm-hmm.
19.
19.
What?
How's it going?
Good. Dance with that guy.
Yeah, I saw. He's
Big.
very big,
Yeah. He's not very good at dancing, but it was fun.
as you do.
The guard that asked for Declare to come back. What is he talking to Claire, or what is he doing?
As you watch him, he goes over. There seems to be a brief exchange, and then he nods and waves, and he heads into the back. You do notice that by now, as you've all been kind of like maneuvering about the party and stuff, the queen has stepped out. She stepped out some time ago.
Mhm.
You see the king's kind of like he's been sitting there and kind of like discussing with people that have come up to either the stage or he talks to some of his the people that are next to him. But he gets up too and he kind of excuses himself and also leaves the party. You, as you're looking around, you do not see Lord Seville anywhere. But as you kind of like eke around to one side, you see him and who you also know to be Lady Mamariki in a sort of heated exchange, kind of going back and forth, where she's kind of like the finger up, fucking like pointing at him and stuff, and he's just kind of like shaking his head, laughing.
I want to creep up.
Doop. They don't seem to notice you. They kind of bark back and forth at each other. It's like that low argument, where you're trying to keep it like, what did you do?
And I'll just sit there.
Waiting. After a few moments, you see Lady Mamariki kind of like shakes her head, and then she goes to turn, and she almost like runs into you for a minute, and then she stops, and she's like, little one, and then she storms off. You
Big one.
You hear the clops of her heels as she kind of like storms off. At which point, Matthias just kind of turns, and he's like,
How do you do the with all the
he reaches down and he kind of pulls the large, basically like cowl cape thing that he has off to the side, and you can see this specially made longsword. It seems to be in a case that's actually attached to his belt and not like hanging off, but it's actually like built into the belt itself. And he's like, it's magic combined with my own sort of martial strength.
Okay, so I need to get magic and get strong.
This was made by Cylana at the Realm of Enchantment.
Oh yeah,
Have you heard?
Lulu said I had to go there and get this magic.
That would be a good thing to get magic.
Well, because it keeps whenever I fight, I turn into fire, so I keep losing all my clothes.
I should ask Lady Mamariki about that. She just left.
Oh,
When she gets mad, things set on fire as well.
Hmm.
It's kind of her thing.
Hashtag barbarian.
pat him on like his thigh. Thank you, and I run off.
You run up. All right. So what are you guys doing? As you notice now that everything kind of winds down.
This guy gets stronger.
People start to head out a little bit.
People begin to thin out. Some people, like, you see as soon as, like, the king walks away, then they're like, they dip out too. It's like, only here for the face kind of thing.
Smiling, staring out into the thing. Lou next to me. There's a fairly good chance, 66%, Theta's gonna get us killed in the next couple minutes.
What are you talking about?
He ran out to the High Confessor to see if the lady's actually a demon or evil or something.
Oh yeah.
So either the High Confessors are going to come in and murder us or her, or
Alright, isn't he,
Theta's going to come in and stab her.
isn't he like buds with her or him? The High Confessor?
I mean,
Alright.
can you be friends with the High Confessor? He's kind of
I don't know.
Look, more than that, the High Confessor seems to at least have a pattern to how he operates. I'm concerned about Theta coming in and stabbing her. That's something he was
Do we see Theta come
mulling about.
in? Do we see Theta come in?
Yeah, you see him coming in, kind of like looking at the floor a little bit. He's
It doesn't look like he's gonna stab anybody.
walking in with a very serious
It's like
face.
he's thinking about it.
Introspective.
Well, let's go ask him if he's gonna stab someone.
Yeah, what?
And I go over.
We should do that.
Hey, Theta. Theta,
Theta, bud. Hello.
are you gonna stab anybody? Like right
No.
now? Okay. Fine, fine. Why are you always worried about stabbing stuff?
I'm a warrior. What can I say?
Alright, I'm bored. So, are we done here?
Where is she?
Because we gotta do a oh. Oh, shit, yeah. Where is she, Ma? He said he's not gonna stab anybody. You can tell her. Tell him.
You look to Rashid, who's currently like standing there, like
Same place she's
pointing. You guys turn over. She's currently sitting
the worst
side
dramatic
by
moment
side
ever.
with Veer. They seem to be talking back and forth.
She's over
And
there.
then you see Lord Matthias kind of approach. He leans down and begins talking to the two of them for a moment before standing up.
So, can you remind me again why you think she's like an evil little baggy person?
Theta.
I did.
Because I saw her with a man who exploded. And then we went to check his house where they were doing adult things. And there were like demonic rituals everywhere and like stuff melted into the floor.
He
Evil
exploded?
stuff. But yeah, he exploded. Center of town. You didn't hear about that? It
I
blew
mean,
the whole
no,
city.
but,
Like,
So it's
it's like saying you didn't hear about an earthquake.
No. I'm not. I heard about it, but so he's the one who exploded. It was his room.
Caleb, yes.
Yeah. So then, what did she do?
He said she made me do it right before we went.
I mean, maybe she just like introduced him to like a new religion or something.
Okay. So how is that worse?
Like maybe she's not like an evil being. Maybe she just is really good at persuading people to do whatever she's part of.
I know she's not evil. Probably told me she was evil.
Okay.
I've already went through this. That's
Then
why I
what
was
do
doing
we-
the whole way back here.
Then what do we need to bother with her first?
Well, I want to
Because
see if beer's gonna pop.
the issue, Lou, is that if we know and we don't do anything,
Well,
Also,
how's beer?
basically what happened was, you ever seen a flywheel spin?
No.
Wheel? The thing around it? Turn one thing, turns a bigger thing, goes whiz, 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 whiz.
I don't think so.
Oh, well, what happens is if you spin one of those too much, it'll start to destabilize, and then it'll detonate and throw pieces everywhere. Even though it's just metal. It explodes. Just like a bomb.
So are you saying you think she's gonna influence him to the
That's
point where
what
he's-
happened with Caleb, and that's why there was an evil magical storm everywhere. It shot off from him, and then it did stuff. You ever seen dancing lights? At more power pumped into it than anything else? It's terrifying, even though it's just lights. So, if this happens again,
Well,
it could level the city.
what did Caleb look like before? Did you guys see Caleb before?
Look at a normal jackass. He was like human or something. I don't know. He won't look the same.
he was a young man, yes.
But so there's no indication of when somebody's gonna flip out.
I mean, we didn't see him in the morning. Like, we saw him before. Well, we did see him in the
We-
morning.
There's-
You did.
We saw him in the morning.
When you guys, when they
And then
left,
the
they were only
switches
gone for
flipped.
like 30, 40 minutes before.
Oh,
he
wow,
came.
okay.
He came back out all messed up looking.
So it could happen anytime.
Theoretically.
I'm sorry, did you have something better to do?
Well, we were gonna do the hunt thing.
Yeah.
But, I
In the
mean,
middle
this
of the
doesn't
night.
seem like it's going any. I mean, did you see
Yeah, no,
her?
clearly not.
I have. He looks.
Well, do you want to go like capture her or something and like, or stalk her? We could stalk her at night before we go home.
That was my plan.
Okay. We'll just watch her, see where she goes.
I think we can rule this as something else.
Man, you just told me a bunch of stuff. You just
Disagree.
told me a totally
I know.
different thing.
I know. So here's what I suggest. You're the most adept
Don't burn your clothes.
at being quiet among us. If you still feel that you need to, tail her. I don't want to say stalk.
I was going to.
The rest of us
Watch
will
intently.
proceed back to our inn and whatever information you can glean.
I'll go with him because this is important to him.
I think the fewer the better in this instance. We'll stay near
Yeah, you guys all go
the
back.
boundary. No, Lou, I mean, you're coming with us. I think he should do this by himself. He's much stealthier than the rest of us, and he's
But here's the problem.
a pro.
You guys each have different pieces of the story, but nobody has a. You guys aren't like together witnessing this stuff, right?
He's got the full story.
As much of the story as there is.
Yes. If anything, he's the most adept to know what to look for, what he's looking for, and the signs that are going.
Yeah, but I want to
towards
see
you.
too because I don't really believe you guys.
Yeah, but you're not really the quietest in the world.
I'm quiet.
Lou, I think at this instance, this is just something you got to take on faith. You don't have to trust us,
I'm not listening to this conversation at all. I'm watching her.
but I trust Theta.
It's not that
Actually,
I trust Theta.
I'm
I
watching
just,
Veer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to see what his take on the world. I'm just trying to figure out people.
it's got that stupid helmet.
So I think we let Theta deal with it. We'll hang out at the Patrician's Gate for a little while, just in case, so we can be a little bit closer.
If
And
it's
then
boring, I'll
What?
meet you back at the chimney. If it's
What
not
if-
boring, I think you'll hear about it before I can tell
Also,
you.
what if she makes him explode?
I don't think he is going to let that happen.
Did you think Caleb was gonna let that happen?
Man, if she managed to charge me and turn me into a walking magical grenade, that'd be amazing. Or charm me, yeah. And just
I trust Theta to handle this appropriately.
I'm more of a
Not that I don't
fragmentation
trust
grenade,
him.
honey.
It's two kinds of trust. I trust him in that I believe him, and I trust him in that I believe he's able to handle this himself.
I think he could handle it, but I also am worried and also want to see this shit for
I'll
myself.
still put it on the table, right? Yeah, I want some of that.
Well, I mean, if you see it, you'll
Pocket
see it. But
no,
I don't
just
think
eat. I just want to
more
eat
than
more
one person following her who is currently
Okay.
escort to a guard to
You know-
a duke that we watched fight Nadril.
Yeah, but
Into the
she may not go
ground.
home with them.
Yeah, if she doesn't, then all the better. We'll see him at the Patrician's
That's
Gate.
how that works.
As you're all having this conversation, you notice that Lord Seville and Veer and Sadko all get up and they actually go back deeper into the castle.
Damn it.
That's where they're staying, is here.
She should be staying there.
Should
Should
go
I?
deeper into the castle.
Huh?
Since they go deeper into the
Yeah.
castle.
They're going, they head out into the back.
I point.
Hey, you talked to the Duke of Sin Hollow. You could probably go back there too.
Yeah, you could.
You could have.
No.
You actually did.
It's fucking memory.
Is he around? Yeah, is he? Damn it, he left. That's right. I saw him leave. I mean, I
It's your
can,
job
I can
to
say
stay
that I
and
got
dick sweat.
invited back.
No. Let's leave.
As everyone begins to exit out, you
Well, they
notice
all
some of the guards begin to kind of like gather into the main
Well,
hall
the guards all
like,
know about it anyway.
to escort
Yeah.
people out. And then
Yeah, but then why they let him
as you're
out?
all kind of standing there, you notice.
We'll start moving, making our way out.
I mean, they're trying
Well,
to keep
as
close
you do,
together.
you just hear like a doom, doom, heavy footfalls.
Load. It's load.
This is your shield
Oh, thank
and
you.
your scimitar.
Thank you.
Hands back. Wow.
Oh, I'm not even there.
Oh,
He's running
I'm
around.
chasing after Mamariki.
Yeah, he went to go find him. Do you want us to take?
he has a flail in his hand and he's like,
Do you want us to take that for him until he gets back? Okay. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
give him a bow.
I would like to look around at the architecture.
Of load?
No. He's gonna climb this ditch.
Load walk.
Okay. I
Takes
think he's
him
looking and staring at while he stares at the
I could say that out loud too. That works.
He just-
I would like to look at the
He
architecture.
has like walks away.
Very ponderous one.
Yeah. Once we get outside, circle around to the side, see if you can't climb up it.
What will you do?
Come with me.
Alright.
Come with me if you want to live. Currently, the doors in here, the 4 entrances into this hall, are currently being blocked by guards, and more kind of filtering in. You notice that the servants are kind of moving in a frenzy to clean up the area.
I'm saying goodbye to my pig.
Run over, okay.
Yeah.
As they're trying to like pick it up, and they're like, "Oh, we want some more."
So, what we have is special. No! I'm gonna walk up to the pig. I don't want to pat it. It'll be the pig for this. So I'm gonna go, shh. I'll never forget our little chats. And then I'll walk away.
And run away. Fair enough. The servants seem mostly confused. They're like, and then they pick
Fucking
up
robots, man.
they pick up the hog and they exit out.
No, I just watched a suit of armor, a tiny suit of armor, talk to a spitted pig. I'm not sure what happened, but
All right.
gotta
That was
get
it.
out of here, guys. Going crazy.
So you guys exit out through the main hall, out through the sort of like antechamber, and then into the open air of the elaborate evening. And as you exit out, you notice that most people are being funneled sort of out. The guards along the outside wall of the castle are currently looking in. You see people being cleared out from the
How-
garden.
Studious would they be? Are they looking like their lives depend on it, or are they a little lax?
Are we talking about like for the guards?
Mhm.
Due to the fact that their whole the castle is currently filled with very important people, they look like
I would like to lead them all.
even the High Confessor is standing there currently,
Oh, shit.
like watching people as they go.
If it helps, I have a grappling hook at home.
As you're all discussing, you hear kong 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 throughout the city as the warning bells begin to chime.
Oh no!
That's probably not good.
No.
I'm lost. This is a big place.
Running after memory, you would have been stopped hitting the
Me.
one of the door because she actually exits out. She storms off and out one of the doors, and when you go to approach, the guards kind of like close in and
The big lady. Does she always stay here? Or is there a way I could talk to her on some other day?
set up an appointment with her assistant.
Okay. What's the assistant's name?
I'll take down their information. I know.
Do you have a business?
It was like most civilized thing.
Pulls out a business card. Zongak, I smash stuff.
It's just a burp.
They kind of like, they look amongst themselves and they're like, who's their name?
Oh.
Oh yeah, the one that's carrying the
Yeah,
halberd.
the halberd.
Yeah.
They kind of like, they're like going back and forth.
It's right there on the tip of my tongue.
Tammy, Teresa,
Tammy.
something. I don't know.
I got Tammy and Teresa, thank you.
One of those two, I think.
Probably. Maybe. Could be. On a Wednesday.
Then you run out. So the bells begin to sing. You notice that the guards on the outside begin to kind of perk up. People begin to kind of run to the edge, couple feet over the edge of the city wall. But they begin kind of ushering some people out. The guards in the courtyard scramble into like a defensive formation, basically, around the outside in this like spread out kind of thing, all seeming to be.
Anywhere I can slip away, or does it look like there?
You can certainly try.
Hide in the bush.
That was my thought.
You can certainly try.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. I'll go for a bush.
Okay.
Off to the side of the
Um,
door. There's one. Nice topiary.
They don't have any up against the castle because they've magicked the castle into a slide, but you'd have to go across the pathway to get into the garden in order to hide anywhere.
Then I would like to just stroll towards the garden. As though I would like to check out its many beautiful viewing areas. Like I belong there. Is it 2 foot?
Make a
sphere?
deception check.
Sure.
Because you're crossing open terrain.
Yep.
The natural 20.
It is, and so with deception,
20.
it's a 20.
So as you kind of like
He knows your
There's
thing
this-
now.
just whistling as you go, people kind of run around you for a minute. A couple people like,
Oh my, what a lovely night for a walk in the garden.
and you cross into the garden area where everything's pretty much waist
Oh
high.
god, is there a timed circuit of guards that I have to roll behind?
Most likely. With their little weird field of views.
Yeah.
Weak. Anyway.
No peripherals, but that cone in front of them, man, don't
Yeah.
get caught in it.
Yeah.
You stand
through
right next to
terrain
it.
sometimes. It just has no logic to it.
It's ridiculous.
All right, so you stroll in.
Okay, if I'm in the garden, I'd like to stealth somewhere. I'd like to hide myself.
Go ahead and make a
Conceal-
stealth
And if
check.
I can, I'd like to find like a nice freshly watered bed, and I want to start taking mud and just fuck it up my college job.
Aw, you're so
Okay,
hard.
make a yeah.
Make a
Stealth
roll.
check.
Okay.
With
I thought you were gonna say like
if
a
it's
nature-
stealth, it's 16.
16. All right, so you kind of dip in as you're going. You do like the going down the stairs thing, where you slowly get lower as
Behind
you
a
just
planter.
stroll, and then around the outside.
Imagine
Around the
stairs
outside.
here.
All right, so as you get low, there's a couple of the overgrown ivies. You remember most of the garden was allowed to kind of go
Yeah,
crazy
yeah,
as
exactly.
natural. You kind of like slide under some foliage. You pick some dirt up,
Vietnam myself.
right? And the two lines. What are the rest of you doing?
Can I write
Leaving.
Born to Kill on my head?
Find it. Defeat the stress.
Don't want to.
We're walking
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, the
giveaway.
warning bells are going off, right?
I'm shuffling them out, making it urgent. Like, oh, we've got to get out of here.
I'm sprinting
What do
from
we do?
inside the
We're gonna
castle
figure
out
out
through
why
the
that's
front,
going on.
Well, we're going to have to figure it out when we get out.
holding a piece of paper.
Alright. Well, should we regroup with the others? Zogak and
There was.
Rob?
There was.
Oh,
We're all being.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Oh, okay.
I know he's quiet.
He's very quiet. I didn't even notice him speak up.
Now that we're outside, I'm putting my fucking.
Thing back on.
Ah, jeez.
In your nice
I
clothes.
feel naked without it.
Well, you look nice. You should have it on all the time.
He also has like bite scars.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
All right.
All right, so you exit out. You exit out of the nobility district into the patricians district, where you can see, you hear the bells are kind of in full swing. The sort of cacophony that makes up this rouse. People are calling and shouting and all manner of things. People are saying, "Close the gates." Some are saying, "Open the gates." Sort of like a maddening air. The patricians that are joining you kind of like pick up their pace and they move with purpose back into their homes and houses as you can hear sort of like these playing basically like a telephone game, shouting down the line. You can hear
What are they saying?
Yeah.
open the gates, close the gates, we have people out there, all kinds of stuff.
Are people trying to come in through the Patrician's Gate to get away from something?
As you hit that bottom corner where it breaks out to the right hand side, you see that the gate currently, both massive portal doors just
That's
close on both sides, all four of them, and the guards begin putting like the large sort of barricade in front
Is
of them.
this the gate
Those
to
are my
get out of the
favorite.
city or into
We have one of those at work.
parts?
Yeah.
We call it the castle door.
Is this to get out of this district or to get out of the city?
This one's to get out of the city because it wraps around, so they're probably barring this one. But as they shout, you can hear them shout down that they're
So are they trapped in the castle grounds or outside of it?
They're not trapped. They're trapped in the
The city.
Patricians district right
Oh,
now.
okay.
However, they can still probably exit out. Just the way out of the city has been closed. As you remember, the way into the Patricians district is a long sort of hallway. Remember that where you could be overseen. By
Oh
a
yeah,
bunch of
yeah,
guards?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's been closed off now.
Oh, okay. So the
They-
pathway into it.
Yeah, they exit there. They close that door out. So you make your way around, sort of funneling your way outside of the Patrician district. As people kind of funnel away from you, you find yourselves almost entirely alone on the streets as the guards are still calling and shouting. The doors to the House Delirium close. As you pass by that sort of central square, the bar closes its doors, locks down, and you find your way out of the that gate. You notice that there are only 2 guards here. It seems like 2 of them have left. And as you find your way back into the main monolith street, you can hear most of the ruckus seems to be coming from the from like basically landward side.
A goose flies overhead.
So there's
Sorry.
guards right now? There's 2?
Yes, there are guards. There are 2 guards currently. They seem kind of like talking amongst themselves, and they watch you instead of being like standard, like standing up.
Yeah.
They kind of like have their weapons like in their hands, like
Ready to
yeah,
go.
kind of like ready. You sort of
Hey, what's going on?
I don't know something's outside the gates. Someone's outside the gates.
Which gate?
They're saying it's into the housing quarter.
All right.
The Western Farmers Gate.
Someone or something?
They're saying someone, some people.
Thank you.
People.
That's what we're hearing. I mean, we're on this side, so we don't really know what's going
All
on.
right. So
Let's make our way over there.
We can't get back to our stuff, right?
We can, because we have to go that way.
Okay.
But who's got their stuff? I've got my scimitar.
I have a thing.
Wow.
Go back. Get our gear.
You notice that no one said to arms or anything. No one's saying defend. They're just saying that they're people.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
people usually means violence.
Yeah.
At least prepare for violence, hope for nothing. Go get our gear. Lou, we're going to head over to the gate.
All of it?
I mean, I just need my armor. And really, it's just a chest.
Okay. What do you guys need from?
I need to go find Emeriki.
No, okay. What about the danger?
What danger?
There's people outside the gate, I guess.
Your bells.
Yeah, the warning bells.
You sure they're not going to church?
No,
Yeah, Zonga,
those are
we've
different
got
bells.
we've got something to take care of probably.
Also, it's kind of late for church. I think. What time is it?
Hmm?
What time is it?
Probably like 10, 11 ish.
That's it. Lou, gear please. Guys, let's roll.
Wait, where are we meeting?
The farmer's gate.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Oh, I don't have my stick.
I'll just grab all the stuff.
Well,
All
you
of
have
it.
depth.
Huh?
You have his
weapon.
Yeah, you have
Oh.
a flail.
Oh, that's right. Logan gave this to me. I don't know his name.
You ready?
I don't know what I'm saying.
I'm ready.
I don't have my
Take
flail.
off my
It's in your
clothes.
hands.
Just stay there.
Oh.
What?
You got a
Zonga,
pair of clothes for him?
Zonga, go with it.
No!
Oh. No, you go back to the fucking
That's your
museum.
I'll bring
Are
you
you
clothes.
Strip naked.
Zonga, go with her. Help her carry the gear out.
Wait, no. I said I'll run back and I'll get him clothes.
You're both
No.
gonna go to the
No.
thing.
I'm
Yeah,
running.
because he's
Go
gonna
on.
need his
Go with us,
strength to
Zonga.
grab
All right.
everything.
Alright, so
Can't have anything happen to that suit. There's a hat that's gonna match it.
Yeah,
You guys all run.
we're more invested in it.
here's the plan.
Okay, what's
Walla
the
and
plan?
I are gonna head straight to the farmer's gate,
Okay.
dashing. Well, as much as he can.
Once.
Lou and
It's like,
Zonga.
hurry up.
Lou and Zonga are gonna head back to the inn, grab our gear. He's obviously gonna change out of his wonderful suit.
Okay.
That's canon.
As
Got it.
nicely as he can.
And then meet us at the gate.
It's a really nice suit
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it's such a nice little
It looks so cool if he's like all on fire and his suit isn't.
Yeah, they look badass.
Hell yeah.
In the future.
With a little top hat. Wait, wasn't the top hat?
Not done yet.
Don't know.
Not done yet.
Oh, it's not. You
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah,
yet.
it's been done yet.
But it
So,
probably will be.
That is a perfect time to take our break. We're
Oh, okay.
gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll pick it back up from here. So thanks so much for hanging out with us. Shout out again, Comrade Snarky00. Thanks so much for the follow. And May Lund, thanks so much for the follow. Rocco, thanks for the host, buddy. Thanks you guys for hanging out with us. Anybody that's lurking, hope you're enjoying so far the show. We will be right back. Just give us a minute to go down, use the
Just
restroom
about
and
10
stuff,
minutes.
and we shall return. Okay. Run away.
Oh no!
Alright.
We
You
have.
want some of this?
Is there any way to fix this stuff? The exclamation point stuff?
What now?
The exclamation point stuff? Like,
Like
Oh.
souls and all that crap.
The commands. Yeah, we have to import. We had, well, I had to find a way to
Oh,
import.
good boy. Hey,
Hey, everybody, we're back.
I don't know if I like
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Okay, it's mine.
Get those carrots.
Take a nice drink. As to reiterate, we're doing a D&D related giveaway at 10 subs or 200 followers, whichever one comes first. Subs get access to the sub only Discord where we post all kinds of stuff, hang out, talk,
Such as lore.
such as lore. Thanks much to Malin and Comrade Snarky00 for the phone. And Rocco for the host, buddy. We will see you in the VOD, bro.
Yeah, we will.
Bread. That's what I
Bravo.
All right, so when last we left our little band of adventurers, you guys were exiting out the Patricians district into the
Not
Monolith
me.
Street.
Yeah.
You guys were running towards, two of you were running towards the Western Farmers Gate. Two of you returning to the Mysterious Chimney, and one of you loitering inside the.
The lovely garden.
So that is where we'll pick it up. We will pick it up with. What are you doing?
I'm gonna take stock of the situation now that I'm here.
Okay,
I'm gonna do a quick look around.
looking around, you notice that currently, right now, all the guards are kind of spread out in like this formation. They kind of acting as like a barricade between anything that comes from the gate and the keep itself. The guards along the castle wall are all kind of positioned. You notice that there's at the far end of the keep, there's actually a ramp that goes upwards into one of those like large cylindrical sort of posts that leads into the military district. That's a direct access.
Oh,
to,
really?
Yeah, direct
Okay.
access. Currently, right now,
Shortcut there.
yeah, everyone seems to be mostly pointed out, except the guards inside are looking around amongst themselves. They don't really maneuver, but they're all in a defensive position. The High Confessor currently stands kind of like looking out. He just kind of has like this serene sort of statue-esque appearance that glints in the moonlight. What are you doing?
I'm a hunker down.
Okay, so you're...
I'm gonna keep an eye on the castle itself. I'm not really paying attention to the guards behind me. I'm paying attention to the door that we came out of,
Mhm.
and then the sides. I'm just looking for movement. I'm looking for other guards or somebody trying to sneak about.
The front door is obviously
Yeah.
closed. The lights that are flittering on top of the castle, these sort of like arcane floating lights, all suddenly go dead. You can see that the once illuminated guards now are shrouded from view. As you watch, though, a unique sight does appear as you see what appears to be a sort of like a long, straight dagger sink into the ground, and then another one right by the High Confessor. And as he looks down, you just see two people appear out of nowhere. These sort of shrouded figures. They pick up their daggers and they put them away, and then they stand next to him and they kind of begin talking.
He's not
You see him-
surprised.
Not at all.
Okay, because I was about to throw a dagger.
Yeah.
As
Oh my God! I'll save you, buddy.
they seem to be wearing like these
Wrong move.
almost like these sleeveless jackets with hoods that come all the way up.
Nice.
They have
Like Andy Ralph.
yeah, they have like long sleeve shirts on. They're tucked into bracers, leather bands up the sides. They seem to have more of those daggers that you've seen. These like sort of like arcane glyph inscribed, and they begin to talk with him for a minute. At which point he talks and he points, and one of them
How far away are they?
probably
Ish.
from you, maybe like 25 feet.
Oh, really? That's all?
Yeah.
Can I try to hear what they're saying?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. What am I rolling?
Perception.
Okay. That is a 19.
19. As you listen in, you can get a little bit, mostly from them, less from the High Confessor due to his mask. But as they converse, they're like, "Sir, do you need us somewhere specific, or would you like us to go anywhere?" And he's just like, he kind of points, and you get the sense that he's basically telling them to position
Nice.
themselves. And one of them throws a dagger kind of like aloft, and then he catches it in air and lands on the wall. A couple of guards are like, "Oh!" They're like, "Oh, Jesus!" And then they kind of get back into position. He stands like eyes up. The other one throws the dagger the other way, and then goes with it, and they disappear along.
One of those guards would be like,
Oh my God, Kevin!
dude, come on,
I
man.
told you about
Fucking
this. You always throw it next to me.
And
I hate you so
You're
much.
laughing.
they vanish from sight. They
I
kind of
pull
like,
my greaves.
Gotta go home and
I
change.
just stand here in this now. I hate you. Mom says you shouldn't do it anymore.
so that is what you see.
I am going into surveillance mode.
Why
does so-
Scan
yeah.
second point.
I basically want to go back to
Gets
being
his own
like
little
an
purple
inanimate
tunnel.
object for the most part,
Yeah.
and just keeping an eye on
Sure.
the castle, looking for anybody running through like past windows or something, or somebody trying to jump out a window, or a rope descending from the heights, or
Blue light
doing what I'm
shining
doing.
out.
Yeah. You guys will get to the gate before these guys get to the mystery gym, because the gate's like way earlier than them. So as you begin running down, you take a right on Monolith from this direction, and you go running down the sort of pathway between the housing district and the market district. And as you exit out, the streets are completely empty. Most people have all sort of moved inside. You see a number of guards are positioned outside the farmer's gate. It's currently open, and they're in a defensive formation, almost like a phalanx minus the shields, as they're all standing with halberds at the ready. A couple of the gentlemen on the inside are currently holding shields and swords, and they kind of like wait patiently. And there's a weird quiet chatter amongst them, sort of like whispered back and forth, like, "Do you see that?" Sort of thing. And as you approach, a couple of them look at you. A couple of them kind of recognize like the strange garb of the two of you, and they just kind of don't really pay any heed. But then suddenly you hear a very surprised, like, "Someone's coming." You hear the galloping of a horse. That sounds, you can hear braying that sounds stressed and like out of breath.
Right.
At which point, after a few moments of like that stunned silence, is sort of like shrieking neigh that this thing gives off. You try to peek by the other guards, and not with a good look, but suddenly you hear, is that a friendly? And then they move out of the way, and as they do, you can see a gentleman being dragged by his horse, which is currently just peppered with arrows. As it pulls into the area, another gentleman comes careening off the top, currently holding onto the reins. His arm is completely missing. His helmet and such is dented into his actual face. He's bleeding profusely as he drops off the side. And the other gentleman that's currently stuck to the reins is just lifeless on the ground next to him. And the horse collapses as the gentleman's just like, kind of like breathing heavily. And they immediately kind of like swarm him to try to like see what's going on.
Looking at the gate now, can we see anything else coming?
Make a perception check, please.
I believe that's 16. Pretty sure it's 16.
16. Looking past them and trying to keep an eye on, almost a couple of them kind of look at you and notice, and then they immediately turn and kind of get into that sort of defensive position once more. You don't see anything. And it's kind of eerie with like this like heavy breathing. The horse is suddenly just stopped. The individuals on the ground breathing heavily. This sort of like clink of metal armor. You try to take stock, for the most part, of any sounds, but it's almost eerie, like the waving of the grass. Somebody's dying in front of you, and like just a quiet, serene night outside of the city gates.
Is anyone talking to the guy about what happened already?
They're currently trying to tend to him. There's a large, a number of people. What happened? What's going on? Oh my God! We need to get somebody to help him. They're all kind of like talking back and forth. As they get him up, though, you can hear him kind of like, "There's so many of them." He's just like freaking out. And what would you make a history check?
I was hoping to get a 2 as well.
No. I need this to happen right now. Fuck. That's a -1, 18.
18. Yours was a 2.
Which is
6.
As you look at him, and you can kind of get a better view of his like sort of missing arm, caved armor. You've actually seen this sort of similar regalia before, and it was the platoon that he's one of the members of the platoon that actually passed by you guys when you guys exited out from when you guys finished up the whole business with Edward Ward.
So he was.
with the cockatrices and the lizard people.
Yeah.
The people won't have to deal with that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Alright, looking at him, hearing everybody freak out, I'm gonna call out, "Lizard men!" There was lizard men in the woods.
The guy on the ground immediately. You've seen him?
Yeah. They killed one of my friends.
Oh, everybody died. Sorry.
His eyes kind of go like white, glossy, and he's just like, "There's so many of them.
He's already into danger.
They have monsters with them." He's like kind of like convulsing. He's got one hand over his like stub-in shoulder.
I'm gonna point at one of the guards. How soon can somebody get here to fix him? Heal him. Heal him somewhere.
They kind of pick him up and they begin like running
Dragging
back
him.
towards what appears to be the port.
I'm not
Gentlemen?
saying anything. I'm not there.
I'm just a meddlesome adventurer. Some of you may have seen me come and go. I fought these things. They can dig under the walls.
There we go.
We
That's
need
what I
to be
was
ready
gonna
for
say.
this. They're hell to fight.
In the sort of roll persuasion check at advantage, please.
That was where I was like, tell them they can dig.
19.
19. A couple of them look amongst themselves like confused. Up to this point, no one's actually seen a lizard man, except for you guys and those
These
individuals.
fucks.
So they're like super confused about what's going on, but suddenly, as you say that they can like dig, a couple of them kind of look around, immediately take stock of the area, and then they begin shouting, and you can hear the sort of like command line as people are shouting down the lines like, "They can dig under the walls," and like people begin scattering out, kind of just trying to like keep stock. People begin kind of walking. You notice like one of the gentlemen in the group doesn't appear to be any sort of like captain, but he's like, "You guys start walking the line, like walk the walls. Let's get people, scout the city." And they kind of like take stock. They still maintain their defensive position, but suddenly they pull in and they close the doors. Boom, boom. Big heavy thuds.
All right, I want to find that guy that doesn't look like a captain, but he's barking orders,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna go up to him. And
He's kind of like talking with some people, and he stops, and he's like,
they come. The one we fought was one lizard man, very sentient bipedal. He had 2 lizard dogs with him.
"You are familiar with drakes?"
Drakes. All right, so he had 2 drakes with him. He had taught them to burrow, and they were intelligent. They practiced ambush tactics. They had distractions ready. These things are fucking smart.
He's like kind of like just listening to you amongst like the stress. He's just kind of like, all right.
But if you need us, we fought them before. We'll be here to back you up. Anything you need.
Okay. And then he kind of like gets with everyone else and starts like maneuvering them out. All right. What are you guys doing?
We're gonna hang out, just kind of back a little bit by the gate, and just be there if he needs assistance. But mostly, I want to be just listening, kind of propped up against the wall to hear.
The burrowing. Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check at advantage. The two of you go barreling past them. You see like sort of like the sort of rabble gathered up at the outside, but you keep going down, heading towards the mysterious chimney. As you round it within view, and you kind of get closer and closer, realize the door's closed, and you kind of hit it open with a burst of. You hear a couple surprised shrieks from inside. Oh! One guy falls off his stool, spills his drink all over himself. Another guy's just like,
He didn't
"That's
even
so scary."
Is it an empty drink now?
Well, no, a different guy. He's
Oh.
just like, "That was terrifying."
Oh, this is your
He's just drinking his booze. It doesn't seem very lively in here.
Everyone out of my way, I gotta change.
He just runs straight through the bar, up the stairs. Into the,
Oh yeah, I'll do the same thing to get car stuff.
you notice that the bartender is not present. He left earlier, as you guys remember. But a couple of the barmaids are like, "Oh my." Just
I have to
upstairs.
superman.
Wonder Woman spin.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no,
it's-
no.
Once I get in there, it's very slow. It's
1 button, 2 button, 3 button.
You
And then-
keep trying to push it through and it doesn't go through.
and then
The best. Jacket off, vest off, shirt off.
Yeah.
Like,
pants, shoe.
How long
Other
did it take
shoe.
him to undon his
Like a
attendants,
couple
undon
minutes.
his
He's trying to put it back nicely.
all right, so you put
And
on
I
your
just throw pants, boots, and my
white shirt.
yeah.
You know what's going out.
Yeah.
All right, and then you change and grab everyone's weapons.
Yeah.
A little bit of armor.
Yeah.
Run out with your hands on a big bundle of
Oh
stuff.
god.
I'll drag it to the hallway.
Careen into
So-
some doors and
So
stuff.
that so that Sonya can help me
Just
whenever she's ready.
just a mess.
Yeah.
You have a bindle. Like, you start running out.
Wait, who is it? Is that who I was sharing a room with?
Huh?
Who was I sharing a room with? Is it Ro?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
No. Grab his stuff.
It's just my
Yep.
bow and arrows.
I mean, I don't know what you need, so I just grab everything. I grabbed all my shit too, just in case.
All right, so
Well,
you
yeah,
guys
Emerald
go
Pearl.
running out in a more comedic fashion than you entered. This time, like kind of running into walls, down the stairs.
Yeah.
Still, everyone's kind of like, oh, what the? Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
Inspiration for that.
Yeah.
Right.
That one
Is
has.
that? It's not Trevor. No, it's not Trevor. It's gonna be Greg.
Oh,
Aw.
He's the guy who won the Frozen Moon drinking contest.
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
It led us to the thing.
So
I
you
actually
guys,
noted that.
you guys go careening out the door. It's very quickly closed behind you. As you guys run back, carrying everything, you make it back to the gate. You see that most of the people here have scattered, kind of confused. You just see like a blood trail leading off, and you see these two standing off to the side. You rolled a 19.
No, I rolled a 7 and an 8, which means I got fucking 10.
10. Sitting there and listen.
We didn't get what he was doing.
Well, I've wanted to try and climb the wall again. Is there a way to climb the wall? Is there a house nearby that I can climb the house? Try and jump.
There is a
Wall.
staircase that leads up.
Oh, we'll go upstairs.
Going to the staircase, a couple of the guards are mostly concerned about what you're doing, and then one of them looks at the other one, and kind of in this stressed moment, he's just like, he looks at you as you kind of run. He stops you for a minute with his halberd, and then he's just like, he looks to the other guy, and he's like, "Go with him. I don't know what." And then he follows you along because,
Watch from above. They could be coming.
well, they have a lot.
I want to be there too.
You run up the stairs too. This guy follows along, confused. He's like, "Why am I doing this?" But you have a little buddy.
You gave them these.
Sebastian.
You
Stick
gave
up.
them meat shield.
You stay up on the
Yes.
wall. You notice that these, like, they have thick sort of walkways. They're pretty decent sized, and you can see on both sides there's a very long line. People spread out probably about every 10, 15 feet, and they kind of like all position themselves. You see that they have bows currently resting up against the actual like wall, and then they have like stacks of arrows that are currently positioned, and they just walk back and forth, kind of keeping their eyes open. Occasionally, they'll call back and forth about, you know, "Oh, I thought I saw that bush move," and you know, to be like, "I don't see anything."
Mm-hmm.
You're an idiot.
I'd like to look over for the grass, see if it's moving. The line down.
The pathway out, you mean?
Yeah.
The main road?
Because was I there with you guys?
Yeah.
No.
I think he got knocked out, didn't he? By the
No, Raw
No,
wasn't there.
Oh, that was
Shale.
Shale.
Yeah.
But you heard him say that.
Yeah.
heard him say that.
But I basically know around
That
about
they
that. I'm
dig.
looking for something that's going to be digging.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check, please. So as you listen amongst the wall, you do hear,
So good.
and then your friends come careening around the alleyway.
I'll go.
Things.
Where's
I just.
yeah?
Throw everything.
Where's Raw? Ma! I have his stuff. It's heavy.
Did you get a 10?
Okay.
10 mice.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Grazie. Thank you. I'll take my armor and clothes. And backpack.
I don't understand. He has.
Yeah, I just
Either.
hucked a bindle at you.
Yeah.
Ah.
It's like dun.
Then I will retcon that, and I'll be, shh, I'm listening. Thank you, some guy.
Oh, hold on. I pull out the bow and arrows and go. Where's Raw?
He went up on the wall.
Okay.
Probably smothered under. Run,
Yeah.
start running, carrying all the stuff
It's just a quiver and a bow.
in a bow.
Oh.
You run up to the staircase. Albert comes out. He's like, what?
They said my friend was up here, so I'm giving them his bow and arrows.
What is happening?
Yeah, just go ahead.
Why'd
You know, it'd be so
I
fucked
guess
up
this is
though.
the kind of night we're
If
having.
like we were in danger, we just like killed the guard. Like it
He just kind of like pulls it out of the way and he's like, hurry up, get out of here.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, no problem. Wait, that's not my name. You run up the wall. You
Yeah.
see Rob
And then I run back down.
turn around just in time to see ears running. You know what happened.
Clatter of
Fair
bows and
enough.
arrows and no one present.
As you stay up on the wall, though, amongst all the noise, you can see the grass move.
Uh-oh.
You don't see
Oh,
anything.
who knows?
Don't see a flying V coming through the.
Going to pick up my arrows. Pick up a couple extra arrows.
Okay. Just like make a sleight of hand check.
No, this calls for everybody, right?
Wait,
It's
I have
just
a
Takesies.
I think I have.
All right, Lou, stay here. I'm gonna go change real quick, and then I'll come back.
Okay, I'll get my
Shop
hammer out.
Lagoon.
What?
What did you say?
I'll get my hammer out. I
Okay.
thought you were laughing at me. I was like, what?
15.
15. He does not seem to notice. The guy does not seem to notice. You slink a couple more. Also, you get like 3 more arrows. Yeah. So as you guys sit there, you wait patiently as the noise begins to die down. People begin to kind of like calm down. The bells have long stopped by now. Amongst the night, but there's the secondary thing that hits you is that there's no noise at all. There doesn't seem to be any calls of animals. There doesn't seem to be any crickets going. It's just dead silent.
You come back.
Yeah, I go back.
What are you
Have I
doing?
seen anything?
Coming from around the castle, you've seen some unique teleportation things going on where they've been these individuals have been
Mhm.
appearing and reappearing. You haven't seen anybody come in or out, but that you do end up seeing the young lady that initially took the weapons from you guys and handed them off to load. She appears out of nowhere, standing next to the High Confessor. Kind of stops and turns, and you see her like head's kind of down, and she's just kind of like whispering to him, and he's just like leans in and she's saying, and then she's like, she walks away. She begins walking along the pathway down towards the gate, the actual Patrician's gate. But that's pretty much what you see.
The way I see it, I'm stuck here. Because if I get up and try to walk out, they're going to be like, what the fuck are you doing here? And if I try to explore the place, I'm probably going to get caught. So I feel like the garden is a good place to hang out and listen to people scheme, because that's what they do in Game of Thrones. So,
Yeah, obviously, walk through the garden scene. That's how
yeah. Hey, come to my garden betrayal.
Don't do it. It's the third one this week. At least the flowers are growing though.
Yeah. They often glow well when watered with blood. So I'm posting up. Like I'm putting myself in a deer hide here. Like
You going into trance then?
pretty much, yeah.
You'll observe.
I mean, I don't need it, but yeah, that's I'm not going anywhere. I'm on personal lockdown. I'm gonna hang out and observe.
Fair enough.
I'm
All right.
just an eye in the grass.
As you guys kind of wind down for the most part, a couple hours go by. Eventually, what's up?
I don't know what we're doing right now.
Hanging out.
No, because like I wasn't there, so I didn't get
Oh.
what we're getting. So can I ask Small what's
Yeah.
going on?
I feel naked without this on.
Alright. So what's coming in?
Lizard men and drakes.
You've seen them. You were
Yeah,
there.
yeah, but I wasn't there for the conversation,
Oh.
so like I have no clue.
So, guy came through the friendly unit to the guards. He was from that platoon that passed us on our way back, and he was dead. His fellow rider is completely gone. The horse is probably not gonna make it.
Well, the horse is there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's laying there. It's done.
It's definitely not gonna make it.
It's riddled with arrows
And,
spears.
I mean, you can hear that there's nothing to hear. There's
So
nothing to hear.
I want to
where'd the arrows come from?
pluck a spear out and
Them?
just look at it. See
So
if
lizard
I
men?
recognize anything.
Sure, why not?
It seems to be very well crafted, but it seems to be made out of petrified wood. The blade is a sharpened metal, but rough. It hasn't been refined. It's like somebody took metal out of like a wall and
Took an ingot.
yeah, and actually
Or
like,
like a deposit.
yeah,
and
and
just
like
ground
sharpened
it.
that whole thing. So it's like
Like an
it's
arrow.
still embedded with some rock and stuff, but it's as you kind of put your hand on it, it's very sharp. It's bound currently with sort of like a hempen kind of rope, but from an indeterminate origin. There's also like leaves hanging off it, and would appear to be some sort of like fungus growing on it.
What was that? Was that in the horse or?
It's the village people.
No, not those.
YMCA.
Do you fill him in on this and see what they hear?
I would have cursory probably given everybody. Yeah, we fought lizards.
This is really nice though.
Keep it.
No, I want to earn it.
How
I'll stick it
tall?
back into
How
the
tall is
horse.
the wall?
How
Like,
tall is
could
the-
I reasonably call up to Raw while he's up there?
You could call up to him.
All right. Hey, Raw,
It's very tall. It's a big wall.
check the tree lines. I don't hear any birds or other animals for that matter.
Okay. Oh.
Take a look at the tree
Yeah.
line. Further out, the tree line doesn't actually start for a considerable amount of distance. It is most of Alabra is grassland.
Right.
And this area has been kind of carved out for farming. It's where most of the farming, like a lot of the farming area, it's why it's called the farmers district, even though it's not in the gate. It's not within the walls of the city. But further out, you can see tree line. This path is the same path you guys took where you were attacked by manticores all the way out into the mountains. So go ahead and make your perception check, please.
Legit though, I really
Wow,
enjoy
you
your
brought it.
rolls, Raw.
Mhm.
You're like the best.
Great. Beautiful.
Best
I've
rolls.
always been so good at perception.
What is it?
6.
6. Looking out, you kind of squint in the darkness.
I might need glasses.
Oh no! I don't even realize it.
But looking out, you don't seem to see anything immediately that strikes you as. But as you guys kind of sit there in a defensive position, eventually you are escorted down. Spending enough time up there, they're kind of like, all right. A couple people are like, why is that person up here? And finally, the guy's like, all right, let's get out of here before we get in trouble. And you guys head down together. But after like an hour or so, the sounds begin to pick up. You hear crickets begin to start creeping. A couple like nighthawks screech, and suddenly the world fills. They still remain sort of defensive.
So after an hour.
Yeah, about an hour.
They didn't use stuff like that before, right?
What?
Like tool, like
We
weapons.
only fought
and
Yeah,
stuff.
one.
that one had a wicked looking axe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think
Yeah,
you
pair of them, right?
You know, I'm thinking of
Did
those.
you not grab the one that he had?
Murlocs.
Oh,
Or no.
Oh no, that's
The
right.
crocodile things is what I was thinking of.
The drakes.
Yeah.
The drakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
The drakes fight by drakes, but
They can. Those are the ones that can go underground.
Yeah, those ones
Yeah,
are
yeah.
big.
Yeah, no, the one that was in the tree that like came down.
Yeah,
he
behind
threw that
Yeah.
axe like
Super
For some reason, I just kept thinking
he had a
about
pair of
that.
them, didn't he?
He had 2 of them,
Yeah.
but nobody picked them up.
Good.
You remember very clearly that he laid an ambush. He made it look like he was sleeping somewhere, but it was actually the victim that you were trying to capture.
Yeah.
And then when you guys jumped on it, he attacked from the trees.
Like a son of a bitch.
Well,
Bitch.
should we? I mean, should we wait here, or should we wait to see how that guy does?
You can hear the crickets. They're gone
Yeah. So.
For now.
for now.
Or from the side.
Well, then somebody's probably gonna make a posting on the board.
Should we see how that guy's doing and ask him some stuff if we can?
I don't think we can, but we can look for him.
What's that?
As you look around, you see Commander Galus with an entourage is coming down the main pathway. He talks amongst them. His helmet is currently on. His halberd is currently in his hand as he walks and talks with the 2 of them back and forth, or with the couple people around him. And as he approaches and seeing you all at the gate, he's like, weirdly, I expected you to be here.
We're
Where's
meddlesome.
the little one?
Well,
Right
Here. Oh, no,
Oh.
the metal. Theta. Where's Theta?
We lost him in the commotion, leaving.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh my.
something about. What do you know? I'm guessing you're here because you know something.
Well, we're here because we're meddlesome.
Or Scooby Doo.
But what I do know is that
Like,
Scooby-Doo.
yeah.
It sets us down. Let me just hold on to this for a
Yeah.
minute.
they, from what I understand, they were lizard men. We fought a couple out while we were doing a quest for the Adventurers Guild. Really smart, really deadly.
Yes, the young man that came in, he is still in a dangerous place, but he's been shouting some very interesting dialogue. So what did you see? Because I'm getting a lot of different information.
Well, the one we fought had 2 drakes with it, and he himself was just your average, I guess, lizard man, bipedal, highly intelligent.
I didn't see anything. But
That's like saying like you look at somebody like he was your average Snuffleupagus.
Yeah.
And he's just
I
kind of
mean,
like
he stood on 2 feet, but he had very rough, leathery lizard. I mean, he looked like a lizard standing on 2 feet.
His the Drake things, they can go underground and burrow and come back up.
Yeah.
Isn't that what got Natalie too?
It
Was
did.
Those things? Yeah.
So he's telling me that there are flaming lizards, that there are.
Wait, one's on fire. Could you explain what he said?
You said that there was a lizard on fire. They had like a snake that was on fire.
What
There was
color fire?
red fire.
Do they sound like the fire newts that my people used to fight?
Yes, they do sound like fire newts.
I guess I say it in the goblin language. It sounds like blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
Fun from Nergan.
They fight with the goblins underground and they're on fire. And they speak in this language and I just do Incan, which is primordial. Sounds like fire crackling.
apparently we know a lot more than I thought.
He said there was
Those are the only ones I know.
four-legged ones. Like, I don't understand.
Horse?
Yeah, like a lower half of a drake, upper half of a lizard man type thing, he said. Or he said there was some that were sneaking around. He said they were ambushed.
Yeah.
He said they sent skirmishers in when we gave him some healing potions. They
That
sent
sounds
skirmishers in with a very large black-scaled one
Mhm.
that he said just decimated. And the minute they tried to like organize against him, they started getting picked off from the trees and stuff. And
Yeah,
such.
probably. They're a lot smarter than I gave him credit for. He nearly killed Nigel. He nearly killed me.
No, he killed that.
You don't need to know that.
Yeah, I thought that too.
He succeeded in killing him.
Whoa! So
But-
what's wrong?
Regardless, they are incredibly intelligent, and if at all possible, you don't want to fight them in the woods.
You said there was a lot of them.
Yes.
So we are currently going to start mounting defense for now, and we will start working on an offensive strategy. But he said that from what we're gathering, the southern end of the mountains, of at least this section of the mountains, are we believe they may be trying to start a foothold. So we are going to be.
And with the drow and the hobgoblins.
Yes, it puts us in a very awkward position because if the pathways are truly cut off, there's a chance that some of our nobility might not be able to leave just yet. But I doubt they will listen and do that thing. Especially from the position that we're gathering, it sounds like it's directly between us and Fort Corness that this is going on.
Like where the
Which
where
means
the
that
chick is from?
there's a potential for Corness to be surrounded.
Well, even worse
And
than
if
that.
that falls, then our entire southern border is free again.
Well, sir, what about? I'm just curious. This seems kind of strange. If anything, we engaged a scout, maybe. But don't you find it strange? The ruler of the keep is here, and suddenly his path back is cut off. I mean, could this be some kind of plot by the?
Quite possibly. I severely hope not. I hope this is a coincidence.
We're not anything special, sir. But if there's anything we can do to help,
We will be offering for assistance. It'll be posted, I'm sure, in a number of places. But you can always just come find me at the guard shack, and I can of course let you know if anything's going on. But for now, we're gonna set up defenses for the night. We're gonna keep scouts going. We have some of our warp mages are going to be doing scouting, so we will see what happens.
I suspect they had been hiding in the tree line, waiting to see if anybody would go out. If you do send someone out, maybe keep an overwatch over them or something. I don't know. You're in charge, sir.
We will do that.
Another one? Let's go home.
So what are we gonna do?
We're gonna go back and go to sleep,
And then what?
and then wake up, regroup in the
Did
morning.
you tell him about the brewing?
He kind of like nods to all of you, and then he heads up to the wall. You notice the entourage begins to kind of like gather up. He begins gathering up a number of people and begin telling them to like walk, the city, keeping vigilant. He gives out the standard like, you need to go here, you guys here, and he continues about his business.
Mhm.
After, so you guys return back.
Mhm.
So for the sake of brevity, you guys return back. You guys head back to the Mysterious Chimney. You don't really need food. It's only been a little bit, so you guys
Yeah.
Had a huge dinner.
gather up,
I can't keep
especially
Razongak though.
talk amongst yourselves.
That'd be snack time for him.
You guys heading straight to sleep?
I'm gonna go straight to sleep.
Okay,
Well, I'm gonna booby trap my window just in case.
how are you going to do that, and with what?
Give me a sec.
Go down to the bartender and be like, "Do you have 3 nails?"
Give them a chance to do some stuff.
Okay, anything you guys want to do before you
Oh,
pass out? Just real quick.
I was making some stuff.
Where are you?
I think I was making
I'm gonna ask
I believe that.
Yeah, yeah.
Lou for some paper and ink.
Okay. How much do you need?
Just one.
Okay.
And I'm gonna write to Tammy or Teresa. I need to speak with Mama Reiki.
Okay.
And then write my name.
Oh no.
Okay.
Why can't you just send it directly to Memory?
I don't know.
Because you doesn't have to go to
Well, they said I have to talk to the assistant.
Do you know her name for sure though? Because you gotta send it to
Tammy
me.
or Teresa.
Oh no. Some like baker in town's gonna be like, I can't just be Memory.
So I
Somebody
was just
to
gonna
speak
bring
with
the
you.
note to I don't know where.
Okay.
No, I
Cameron might have
wasn't
a
going to
mail
send
system.
it through the mail system. I
Cameron
was
might
just-
have a mail system.
He doesn't.
No.
No, we tried it a long times with him.
It's the easiest one to get to is the.
Mail system. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like at this point we should probably look into that. Just like see if we can get a little seal to sell shit, to send shit, because we seem to be doing a lot more.
A lot more mailing than we thought.
I'm gonna go to the Adventurers Guild or take a nap.
It's not open right now.
And I will take a nap.
Okay. So you guys retire. What are you doing, Lou?
I want to try to make a bomb.
Okay.
A bomb.
You want to make some progress on one of them?
Yeah.
All right. So.
Because I think I only have the stuff, and I thought I made one, but I don't have it here, so I don't know if I actually made one.
I think you were still working on it.
I think so too. I think I can't. I don't
Progress
think,
thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
go ahead and make a tinkering check.
Taking that shit.
I'm gonna use
Using your dexterity modifier.
I'm gonna use the
Anything else?
utensils in my mess kit.
Hey.
Do I use anything else
Put
aside from my dex?
just on top of the window.
Do you have proficiency in tinker's tools?
I'm using my alchemy kit
Oh, then yes, you add your proficiency modifier.
plus dex.
Correct.
Plus
What's your dex?
1 plus 7.
Wait,
25.
25.
Yeah.
So
That good meal did you well.
as you having already gotten a pretty good head start, you remember the process and you begin to kind of manipulate this thing, and you begin to kind of mix the chemicals as well to that actually generate the when they
Breaking
mix.
Bad that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, you kill it. So you can add a smoke bomb to your inventory, please. What are you doing?
Alright, I'm gonna take the utensils from my mess kit.
Okay.
Put one on top of the window so that if it's jostled, so the window gets opened,
It'll tingle off.
it'll fall off and ideally wake me up.
Okay.
Ideally.
All right.
Possible.
So you guys wind down. After a couple hours, you notice that the sort of central area, the High Confessor stands and he calls out to them to regroup, and they all begin to kind of walk past you and towards the front, right in front of the gate. And he addresses them very briefly with, "We're gonna have one shift. You guys are gonna head back. You guys head back to the barracks, things like that." And they begin to kind of disperse, talking amongst themselves. Some of the guards come down off the wall and begin heading back towards the naval base that's on the shoreline. But after a minute, High Confessor stands there, and then he turns and walks towards the actual keep itself. He raps on the door. They open it. There's inside. They close it behind him. You find
I'm
yourself-
still keeping an eye out for. I'm looking for Saka. That's what I'm looking for. I want to see her sneak away in the middle of the night or something. That's what I'm convinced will happen.
Just watch
Okay.
Shane.
That too.
shoes in her hand.
Just run out.
Yes.
Slut! And then run away.
Shame.
That's terrible. That's terrible. So,
It's the only thing I can do.
Well, you have to
So I'm
hit
not
her
allowed
with
to stab her
rotten
here.
fruit.
Yeah.
okay, so you hang out for the remainder of the evening, sleeping. Everyone winds down, passes out. Morning comes sooner than you'd like. I feel like that's always that like quick sort of jostle,
Winding down.
unwinding. All right, so you guys come to the three of you in your
4.
the four of you. Sorry, the four of you inside the mysterious chimney. One at the still underneath.
Somewhere else, no big deal.
Still under a planter. As you wake up,
Yeah, no, it's not wake.
please make a constitution. What saving throw am I making you do this whole time?
What? For
For
waking up?
what?
For his madness, it was wisdom.
Yeah, for the scary
For
sad
guilt.
dreams.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead and make a constitution saving throw, please.
17.
17.
Make it.
Okay, cool.
16. My bad.
16. As you awake, you feel this kind of like this strange like lurching feeling that you've been kind of getting weirdly accustomed to over the last couple days. You thought it might have had something to do with the madness that you were suffering and the sudden loss of memory, but now you realize it's something else. You've been kind of not feeling right in a lot of ways. And as you kind of like scimitar in hand, you wheel around, you see that your fork is placed very neatly on the window ledge.
God damn it!
And it's cracked about this much.
She opened it and went,
And then left. Thank you.
Or didn't.
Or
Maybe she
didn't.
spit in your mouth.
She just
She's kind of hot, so I mean.
You wake up.
Strangers do.
Like strangers and then
Awake?
they try to strangle
Yeah,
you.
those are totally
You're
different.
totally
Don't get those
different.
mixed up.
You awake.
Yep.
Up, two of you in the same room. I don't know why I imagine like video game where like your eyes open and then you're just not in the bed anymore. You're like standing.
Yeah, standing.
There's no animation to get up.
doo-doo-doo.
But the two of you go downstairs after getting ready. You head down as well. You guys grab some food.
Yep.
You are joined eventually by Mr. Maw.
So where are we going? What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we?
Well, first we need to figure out how to get Theta back.
I heard if you wish upon a star. things
No, he's
You think
currently
that she got him?
somewhere. I feel like no.
I have a plan.
I don't know.
As you are in your trance state, hanging out, you notice
Oh,
the
no.
courtyard begins to thin out as morning comes.
The
Around
gardener
like
finds him.
5 or 6 in the morning. The doors are open on both sides, and surprisingly enough, you actually see the queen step out from the
Oh,
main
no.
entryway.
What have you done?
Go on.
And as she exits out, she kind of like takes a deep breath. She heads down the pathway. She begins walking down the other way away from you towards the altar, the Altane altar, and she positions herself and she takes gets on her knees and she begins to kind of pray there for a moment. Just
I'm gonna take note of what she's doing because I don't watch people worship that often. So
she just kind of like on her knees, just kind of like praying there for a minute. After a few moments, you notice the High Confessor also step out, and as he steps out, he looks. He sees her at the altar, so he stands off to the side, not nearby, but like right off the
Yeah.
pathway, and he
waiting
Kinda
for the
waits.
urinal.
eventually, yeah. He waits there. A few more moments. You see some of the servants coming out. See a gardener coming out. Like a bunch of people begin kind of like gathering out
Go on.
their morning routine. They don't. It's a big garden. They're
I'm
not starting.
staying right where I am.
They're not going to start
moving.
near you. But yeah, you just see kind of like morning.
I have a plan for when I'm discovered, but if I'm discovered, but I'm still looking for Sokka.
You don't see her yet.
Yeah, it's fine.
Um,
I have a mission.
It's best to let Theta do his mission.
okay.
I
What do you guys want to do for the morning?
So,
I'm running the restroom.
what are
Okay, go
okay?
Lay him down.
Are we gonna fight like a lot of lizardmen? Because there's something I need to do beforehand.
Probably. That's probably gonna end up happening.
Okay, but like they're sending like a big army out. Like is that
Yes.
something you? I mean, we're not prepared to do that thing. If you remember Nadril.
We're more prepared now.
You don't. You don't.
We're more prepared
You
now
don't.
than we were.
I take food off other people's plates.
And
Okay.
Whose place?
Everyone's.
not yet.
Not Zagat. Let me finish my breakfast in my own time.
We need more pocket bacon.
We don't have a tag one now. But
Lou, being an adventurer
Or pocket dogs.
is not about the money or the fame. 4 or 5 moments, Lou.
4 or 5 moments.
That is all it takes to be an adventurer. Alright? Adventurers are those
I'm gonna go to church
that start.
and I leave.
wait, what do you mean?
What?
church? He's religious.
I mean, he could be.
Make a perception check, please.
Natural 20.
Natural
Plus
20.
2, yes. I want to know again. Sucker. I'm really glad that natural 20 did something right now.
Probably amongst yourselves, kids.
Oh,
shit!
dear.
Uh-oh.
Talk
Oh
amongst
my! What did we roll next
Do I need
time?
like perception against to see if Zongak's religious?
yourselves.
Oh, okay.
Should I leave?
No, come over here.
Oh.
I'm
Oh,
seriously
no,
worried about
no,
this.
come over here.
I think it's bad that it was the.
You see, Lou, adventurers. Oh, she's going to the bathroom. Okay. Well. But you're religious?
He left.
He's gone. Damn it.
I'm playing my part perfectly.
We're gonna get ourselves killed. What about you, Ra?
What are we doing?
I think we should fight the lizard man. I think that's
Oh,
what we
went
should.
so well the first time. You know,
I think we should.
go out with everyone else.
I think that's the right thing to do. Protect this city.
You still have other people with us this time.
I was like,
But they built the city on pirates and rock and roll.
You're not here.
What's up with that?
I'll
Welcome
go to. I'll do like a double take and look at Maw, and
Okay.
then like, I'll get like super close to him.
she starts inching in on your
Yeah.
territory.
Did you wash your hands?
I'm not touching her eye. I'm just like getting really close.
Did you wash your hands after using the?
Yeah, I wash my hands.
Okay.
Your eye is messed up.
Well, no, one's silver and the other's green.
No, like, it looks like a snake eye. It wasn't like that before.
Snake
Which one, the green one or the silver one?
So, what? Right. Sorry. My bad.
So, do you know which one's
Wait,
which?
you,
Yes.
you said the.
Did I think I just drew on that. I just
Okay,
using that as
so
an
it's this
example.
right on now?
Yeah, it's the right item.
What color is that one?
Silver.
As
It's green.
as she begins to mention it, Rod tilts his head around, and yeah, it looks like right in the corner you can see almost like this like greenish skin, and the eye itself almost looks yellowish around the outside, and the
So new.
iris goes from like a slit back into like a little circle for a minute.
New mission for the day. Figure out what the fuck is happening to you.
Well, I feel fine, and it's not important right now. The
Insight
city.
check.
Okay, go ahead and make an insight.
Do I believe
Oh, of course she does.
18.
18. Are you lying?
Do you feel
Or are
fine?
you telling the truth that you feel fine?
I feel fine.
You can roll one of those things and not tell me. Just give me the number.
Yeah.
Perception or persuasion.
Well, persuasion or deception.
Yeah, don't tell anybody.
14.
Okay, so 14. What? Give her the information that you want.
Look, I mean, I don't feel like I feel a little off, but that's not important.
How off?
Like off enough that I know I'm off. Lou, we've got a city to protect.
Yeah, but we can't protect them if you're not in tip-top shape and if you're getting weird on us. What if you turn into one of those things? We don't know.
What thing?
Those lizard things.
I'm not gonna turn into a lizard man.
No.
they're were-lizards?
I didn't get bit by one
Yes,
that I
you
recall.
did. Wait, how'd you?
Axes.
Did you get bit?
You did not.
Or scratched?
The opposite of that.
You got asked a question.
Yeah,
A lot.
and I didn't know the
You
answer.
got knocked out and almost drugged to a fucking.
However, would you like to make a history check, sir?
Yes.
Go ahead and do that thing.
14.
You could eat a heart.
14.
15.
You
minus
do distinctly remember at one point because you remember you didn't kill the lizard man.
Yeah.
He stared you directly in your eyeballs, and he was saying a whole lot of shit before
In
he
the
killed
language you couldn't
himself.
understand.
Yeah, I remember that.
So you remember that? That's a kind of strange occurrence. Never had an enemy do that to you before.
It seemed like he was taunting him, right?
Yeah,
Saying something.
Oh.
So I think
You
we.
seem very intently saying it.
Before anything else
Stared
happens
at
to you, we're gonna have to go get you.
Did we speak Draconic here?
No.
It's gonna be a very awkward.
Yeah, that's what made it
next couple
shitty.
missions.
I don't know. Anyway,
Which, actually, wait,
Yes.
is there a place I can learn new languages?
yeah.
Because so far, 2 of my enemies have done something involving talking to me, and I don't know what the fuck.
You can take a seat. Yes.
Damn.
Can't go to college?
Yeah, right.
It'd probably take way longer.
Yeah.
Just a
We're
couple
adventurers.
of
We're
years.
not
Well,
learning.
Whatever.
I've got a long time until my next feat.
Well,
So.
you could, if we do downtime, potentially. Depends on how much downtime.
You get a book or audio.
It won't really help.
Well, I mean, you get a passing
Potentially.
knowledge.
Yeah.
You get bathroom and beer and
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4.
And how much
and
does this cost?
And your something about your
Nice
mother.
to meet you,
where's
sir.
the library?
Como está?
All right, so
It is nice to meet you, sir.
Look, I feel.
Look,
Something about a bibliotheca.
I don't know how long it's gonna take for you to like get all weird. So
What
we
do you
need to
get
go
over
get you
here?
checked out somewhere.
Look, the only thing we need to do today is ensure that A, one of Alavra's forts isn't ransacked by Drow or
We've
we're
already
up
got people
here.
working on that, though.
And B, I need to find something to properly trap my window.
From what?
My friend,
What friend?
Nana.
My friend.
Who?
Oh, the
Nana,
one you
she's
explained.
from San Mania. Look,
She did
Nana keeps breaking into my room
doing
and
things
trying to
to
kill
him.
me
Or spitting in your mouth.
or spitting in my mouth. Go away, Zongai.
You're not here.
Can
You
you
can't sit with us.
listen?
Look, I just need to trap my window. That's it.
We can drop your window, but also we need to go have you looked at somewhere.
I don't need anything. I'm fine.
Camera turned red.
Hey, we're red now.
Yeah.
It's rage. Barbarian.
I'm gonna.
You do need to get checked out because I don't like. What if this progresses? Like I don't know what's wrong with you. What if you turn on us? You know, what if you start sympathizing with the enemy? If we go out and do this lizard thing.
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't want to just go out there and murder them. If we can reach some kind of accord, that'd be nice. But look, I take care of my own, Lou. You're my friend. Everybody here is
Yeah.
my friend. Your lives come first.
So then do what your friend asks and go get looked at. You just gotta go get looked at.
Turn your head and go.
Okay.
Just go see if this is a curse or if you are infected with some kind of like where lizard.
Fine.
Hey,
Where
it's
do
got
I
the
go?
Uh,
You work on
somewhere
that.
with curses.
I'm going to go get traps for my window.
Roll credits.
I'll go with you.
Push up from the table.
I'll do it too.
We're gonna go to the Adventurers Guild.
Yeah.
Please do.
We'll meet back. Should we meet back here so we can to discuss things
We'll meet back at
after we
lunch.
go to the mall?
Somebody should probably go check and see what kind of church Zongak's going to.
Oh yeah, did you run out?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
We'll meet back at High.
High and new.
They
What?
talked about the statues of the gods, right?
Correct.
That's where I'm going.
Okay, so you head out.
I
You
know.
exit out. You run along the wall. Follow it all the way around past the Adventurers Guild. Take a right into the
While
slums
waving at
district.
everybody.
Wave at everybody. The door is actually, as you run by, the door is open, and even for this early in the morning, it is relatively packed. There are people in and out. Some people waiting outside. As you wave, there's like kind of wave awkwardly. Run past them. Take a right into the slums district. Begin running down. You see, you catch a couple eyes from people kind of like rolling up or getting ready for the day. And you run past some children who run with you for a moment.
But when they're running with me, do you know Cameron? Cameron the hero? Do you know Cameron?
Who's Cameron?
Which one's Grady?
Oh.
Yeah, that's not Grady knew
You
that.
look, you look. One of them dead in his face, and just like snot comes down.
Ew.
No.
Liar.
No, he's dumb. Anyway, and you just keep
Yeah, just
running.
leave it.
Keep
He's
sprinting.
so dumb, Zonga. He's dumb.
You pass by the Settler community compound as they open their doors, and gentlemen in white kind of
Wave at 'em.
step out for a minute. And they, Ugh! One of them jumps, and the other one's just like, "What was that?" And you sprint continuous
The
by.
children are getting worse.
You and finally you find yourself passing the very large, lighthouse that enters into the seaside oublie. It's currently blocked off, obviously, by a small wall, and there's guards inside, but that's what they built, basically a lighthouse over top of it, so people didn't have to look at it. You run around that, and you find yourself at the Sanctuary of the Gods, basically this like curved upward cliff face where they have carved the reliefs of all of the saints into the rock. It's four, and then one in the center, and it kind of goes up. As you stop, they're all the Altean saints. There's no Protean saints here.
I guess it's good as any. Nice.
Dog left. Having it in his arm.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna take a couple sticks. Start a small fire.
Okay.
Go,
You have a fire starter, don't you?
No.
I gave you
So I use a tinderbox, put it, I guess, in between two of the statues.
Okay.
Like, alright. Thank you for helping me the other day. I think we're gonna fight a bunch of lizard people. So if you want anything, let me know and I'll bring it back. All hail the Great Fire. I do that weird, we're not worthy, that fucking...
Okay.
So like, if I do it 3 times, then I go, okay, that's enough. I'm reading
Dead in
now.
The Sims.
Ears fucking flapping on the ground.
As you do the very dramatic.
Yeah.
As you're doing that, you hear a and there's just like this very plump, like large raven staring down at you from the statue. From one of them, the main one in the center. Like you see like the large back form of an orc with his hand in the air, and it's kind of resting on the shoulder, looking down at you. And as it turns its head to one side, you see that it has 3 eyes on one side. One of them's kind of like flitting with like this little flame.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a lot of lizard things. And I try and match it with.
Like giving it side eye.
Yeah.
At which point you can hear another little fat looking vulture kind of sitting next, not like next to you, but like 10 feet out, just kind of like. It's about 10 feet away.
Yeah.
From you.
Yeah, I'm gonna be going now. So if you want anything, something that's not in bird speak.
That'd be nice.
You see one of them kind of like look over, it like turns around, the one that's like the big raven. It turns around and looks down at the water. It looks back at you. Looks down at the water.
I look at the water.
As you look down at the water, you hear right behind you. I need to make a dexterity saving throw.
I was kind of hoping our were shark friend was gonna be like, "Hey man, what's up?"
Comes out of the water.
16. As you jump a little bit, you catch onto the statue so you don't go into the water, and then you just see behind you is like the smaller raven, just like, and then it just vanishes in a puff of flame.
I look back at where the vulture was.
It's gone.
So he wants me to push people underwater.
That's it.
Alright.
All 3 of them seem to be gone.
I run to the Adventurers Guild.
Take off running. Wait, take off running. Stop. Go back. Pick up your tinderbox. Run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not crazy. You're crazy. Just running with his hands wiggling.
Oh, one
Alright.
has a sword in it.
You two?
where- As we're walking, where would I go to get somebody checked for a curse?
For a curse.
Yes.
Anywhere that has some sort of religious magic.
As soon as we pop
Actually, I think any magic caster can cast remove curse. Or
Yeah, they can.
So as
What
soon
about
as
detect curse? I don't want to remove it. I just want to know it's there.
well, remove curse is a higher level than just finding out if somebody is cursed.
okay. Well, could somebody like in the city do a detect curse?
That's a good question. Let's find out.
So for going that, I'm going to the general store.
Well, I'm walking with you, but if I see a place, I'm dragging you in. Well, so we're just taking a walk right now. Just two friends going shopping. That's all.
I'm not crazy, and I'm not gonna
I
turn.
didn't say you were crazy, and you don't know.
I do know.
You don't know. You didn't even know your eye was messed up.
Well, obviously I can't see it.
Yeah, there's
Cameron. Cameron.
So I'm just
Lulu, you're overreacting. We need to be worried more about the lizard man.
I don't think we should go fight that thing because that seems like leagues out of our depth.
Find one thing.
Actually, I
That,
already have this.
all that stuff.
So a small unit like us, that's a ragtag bunch. I mean, I think we've got a really good chance.
Like
As a-
last time.
We weren't
Against less
ready.
people.
We weren't ready the last time.
We aren't ready for this.
We're ready now.
Did you ever fight a flame lizard? Did you ever fight a black scaled thing?
Zongak has.
Yeah. Well, that's one person.
Yeah,
And
indeed, Lou.
Where are you guys going, by the way?
we're okay. So
I'm going to the general store.
Yeah, he's going to the
Yes.
general store. But if I see anywhere that I think would be able to like figure out a curse on him or just like
Fucking Madame
remove one or
Strauss's.
whatever, like any kind of magic in places we're walking.
Madame
No.
Strauss's hand reading.
Yeah.
Not in this area.
Just looking around.
Um,
I'll wait.
but the general store. What are you looking for in the general store?
I would like to get
Let's make
some
a
maybe
box
some
with this.
fishing line, some kind of very small line, and maybe like a little bell.
Okay. Yeah, I can see you probably get
You
that
want
for like
the trap.
silver piece from the
You know
general
what
store.
sucks? You're
They
gonna
get
have-
all the pieces. They kind of eye you suspiciously as you get these very specific things.
Maybe like a
Oh,
fish hook.
I would
actually,
say
something
I would
like
say
that.
probably a silver for just like
I basically just want to make like a very simple alarm.
yeah. So 1 silver. Go ahead and mark that off.
1 silver is
Easy enough.
It's a brilliant idea. It's an amazing idea.
What?
Find out later.
Actually, you know what? Can I give him 10 copper?
Actually, give him. Yeah, you can do that. He'll take it.
Is that chick? Ding, ding, ding.
What chick?
It's the enchantress chick.
Maybe.
I mean, there are cursed objects.
Yeah. Well,
Savannah?
then, yes, yeah, I knew it. But
Unfortunately.
Lucrezia chose not to. Then I'll drag him there. when
Okay,
we're done with
so
the
you
store.
drag him back
Well,
to.
whenever we're done with the store.
So I'm finished
No.
with the store. I'm going to exit and then head back towards the inn.
To the thing! And take them.
Yep, to the inn.
Grab
I'll
your,
start.
like,
Yeah,
the
I'll
little-
leave my arm in yours and start like dragging it. You said! Yay! Skip.
If you let go of me, I'm going back to the inn.
Rock to see the enchantress.
I will
Okay,
tell
so you guys
that
make
now.
your way along the wall until about that 90-degree point where you take a right down that pathway and you find yourself in front of the realm of enchantment.
We will stop there. I'm not paying for this. This is ridiculous and a
We'll
waste
see.
of her time.
We'll see. Maybe she can't even do it. And it's for your own good. It's like paying for nothing.
If she can't do it, can we end it here?
No.
Look, how long has it been since we fought that lizard man? And you noticing? Obviously, it's not progressing at any amount of speed that's
How long
threatened.
ago was that?
A week?
Yeah.
It's been like a week. You
It's
would
not
make
very
it.
long.
Or it's
Well, we've been
incomprehensibly
feeling
long.
weird.
I feel weird all the time. I don't get a lot of sleep. What?
Just then listen to you talk.
No, you're looking at me talk. And I don't like it.
Open door to the kid.
Okay, you open inside. You're immediately struck by the smell of incense. You remember this like cozy sort of interior as the shop's decent size, but most of it's just
Quick
made
look
up
to
of
see if
like
Sybil's here though.
panic look around
Yeah.
the room. You don't see him. You take a minute to take stock of your environment. You see those. This is the first time you've been in here. You see the sort of like billowing curtains that are all around the outside. These are like glowing magical torches. On the right hand side, you see a waist high wall, and flanked on either side by cases. One currently filled with like sort of glass vials, and the other one with like daggers, sword, axe, sort of like things like that. And as you enter inside, there's no one immediately sitting behind the counter, but with the sort of rustling
not
inside,
here.
Hello!
you
You're
hear
not
some
here, what you doing?
movement.
Okay, I hear movement.
Do I hear movement?
Yes.
I don't
Be
hear
rude.
anything.
Side check. 17 plus something, 2. 4.
He has advantage on the hearing.
21.
So
I do
after a
have-
moment, you see this young woman, or what appears to be a young woman, very beautiful young lady approaches.
Is it the same chick?
It is the same chick. You recognize her from before. As she enters in, she takes a look at both of you. She sees you and she goes, looks at you and she's like, yes, what can
I have a question.
Before that, man, firstly, I'd like to apologize on my friend's behalf. She's going to ask something troubling and probably stupid of you.
That was rude.
But it's also accurate. This is wasting our time.
So I was wondering, do you know how, if, in your abilities, can you see if somebody's cursed or not? Or know, if you can't, do you know who can?
There aren't any magics that specifically allow someone to look into the nature of a curse. The nature of a curse is to be hidden from view. I know spells that allow me to see magic, to see enchantments, but those are not in any way, shape, or form guaranteed. You would need someone with a bit more power than myself, and I wouldn't know what type of magic they would be able to need. Though I feel like someone of the divine might be able to help you if you are truly.
I'm not.
I know
I
her.
assure you.
I know a
She's
guy.
You do know that.
she's overly concerned about nothing.
So just like go to a church, you think?
Sure.
Do you have to believe in it though? Or do you just go and see?
It's not how divine magic works.
Okay, then we're good.
No, we're not. I'm sorry.
Thank you for your time, I appreciate it. And I'm sorry about the other day. That just got one. You know, he came up to me and talked to me about it afterward too. It's awkward.
I'm gonna start. Can I stealth?
You can attempt to.
And then I'll turn around and we'll go to leave.
Okay.
Are you trying to use sneak moves?
He tries to sneak away.
Please sneak away.
11.
11. What is your passive perception?
12.
Unfortunately, as you try to slink out, there's this moment where her arm tightens on yours, and you're just like,
To a church.
Thank you, miss.
Thank you. Wait.
she bows. And then as you exit out, you turns and heads back into the background area. So, you guys exit out back into the elaborate morning.
We go and find church.
Go and find a church. All right. So, which one?
Whatever is closest.
Using his own
Whatever we find along the way.
Closest?
Like, I'm just walking until I find one. I'm not like.
I want to
trying
point out
leave.
there is, as far as I'm aware, 2 predominantly worshipped saints.
Well, I'll say it.
Altea herself
Matthias.
She's not a
and
saint, though.
Crowley at the house of
State
Delirium.
Also Sedla.
And Sedla.
Which is the closest?
It's about which one we can get to,
I mean,
Lou.
technically, like, the Sedla one is like a fraction of a hair closer. From where you are in the city right now, it's slightly closer.
What about House Delirium?
House Delirium is on the other end. It's in the Patrician's District, but you've already been there once, so you might be able to go there again.
I wouldn't count on that.
On the, that would be to your left, exiting out from the direction that you're.
Would I happen to know that my memory loss was caused by the House Delirium?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't want to go back to the House Delirium.
Took his brain last
And
time.
I don't really want to go to the Sedla compound either.
We're going somewhere.
I really don't think we need to.
We do. We're
Crazy.
gonna go somewhere.
For the sake of information, you would not want to go to the Sedla community compound. You spent a considerable amount of time in the slums, and they're basically a cult.
Okay. Well, we
They're
won't go.
slightly creepy. They are a cult.
Is there an Altea church?
The only 2 worshippers, well, the only 2 direct worshippers, the only person that
Or the High Confessor?
the High Confessor is
And the Queen.
the High Confessor can perform miracles.
Yes, he can.
Yes, like shooting.
So our options are go to a place I'm not going, go to a place you're not going, or talk to the man that could very well kill both of us for talking to him.
You don't kill
Or-
him for talking to him.
Option
Just for
4, Lou.
disagreeing with him.
Just relax. If only this much has happened in a week, I've got at least another week. We'll handle what we need to handle, and we'll
We
go
don't know
from
how long we're
there.
gonna be gone for.
Long enough that I'm not going to do anything, and nothing bad is going to happen. Okay?
We gotta find Theta, right? Where we staying at? Last?
I don't know. We lost him in the confusion.
Damn it!
Nice insight.
Oh, that's a great deception.
Damn it.
That's an 18 for deception.
That's an 8 for insight.
It's hard to read,
Come
but based on his deadpan face, probably lying.
on. We gotta find Theta.
Go ahead and give that to
So we
you.
can tell the plan, because he doesn't know anything's going on, right?
But he does know to meet us back at the chimney, so perhaps we should wait there for
When?
him.
Because he didn't show up this morning.
He'll get back when he gets back. And I will begin to march to the chimney.
Heading back to the mysterious chimney. Excellent.
I have a trap to set.
Lore question.
Yes.
Jormungandr, population like.
Population. You talking about racial way,
Yeah.
racially wise? Humans mostly. Humans mostly.
Dwarves? No? Hmm.
If there are, there's ones and twos. It's a big city,
Okay.
and not only is it a big city, but it's
Port town.
it's a port town and a military town for Theoden. So it's massive, and it's a maze, and it's very densely populated. So not unlikely, but not a large population.
Okay.
It would be like onesie twosies here and there.
Okay, that works for me. Cool. Thanks.
Mostly humans and rumors of Selkies, but it's hard to prove. So
Part 2 of the plan. I just need one dwarf is all I need.
you
I just
There you
need one drunk dwarf.
kidnap a dwarf. Got it. So you guys begin walking back to the mysterious chimney.
I wanna head. He does. I wanna head toward the castle.
All right, so you head towards
As
Patricia's
Yeah.
district.
Lou
As far as
starts
I
to
can get.
slip out, I'm going to clench down
I mean, I
her
didn't
arm.
slip. I just stood there.
Lou,
Why do you want to wait? Why do you want to risk it?
because it's not a risk. But if you're hell bent on this,
Which I am.
I don't want you to end up in jail again.
He doesn't get upset for people talking to him.
So, why don't you check in
He
with
makes
Theo?
interest.
He's an alchemist. Maybe he's got something for it.
He doesn't deal with this kind of
Have you checked all the
stuff.
bottles
He
in
makes
his store?
boxes and
He might have something magic or some kind of potion that turns blue if the person that holds it is cursed. I don't know,
You gotta pee on the stick.
but at least
My
stop
alchemist
by
stick.
and don't go to the High Confessor.
I will concede and we'll go to the alchemist shop.
Good.
Marin's alchemical supply.
Yeah.
I'm going back to the inn, and I will be there unless something.
No, you have to come too.
Why?
Because what if you have to drink the stuff right then and there?
That would defeat the purpose. It would defeat the purpose.
What else are you gonna do? You know the stuff that trap right now. You're going to sleep. What if she just breaks it while you're out?
I mean,
She seems dickish.
fairly, she's probably gonna break it anyway.
So then let's just go to the thing together.
What are we talking about?
If like he wants to go set that trap like right now.
I don't. I just don't want to do this anymore.
He's trying to find her. My correspondence. I need to catch up on my correspondence.
Okay.
You know, we send a lot of letters. Maybe you do that. I'll go find something that lets us send letters. You
No,
know,
no, no, we're fine.
ourselves.
Let's go together. And then we'll go look into the letter thing. Maybe a P.O. box.
Quiet this preserve. All right.
Yay! Adventure! Link arms.
Wait.
What?
Ziliana,
Is not.
magically inclined, and she lives in town.
You just want to go see her, don't you?
Yes.
I mean, she had a friend, and we could probably use her help. So yes.
I'll be bitter.
No. I mean, she didn't do anything like that. She don't have a real curse or
Well,
detect.
she's not here anymore, so maybe she.
Well, she had
has.
identified, didn't
She
she?
doesn't. I haven't. Oh, she did have identified.
Did she?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, she did because she kept
has
wanting to use it and never got a chance to use it.
Yeah, she has that.
Identify could identify magic that's affecting a person.
Oh, nice. Good call. I like it.
What do you want to do first?
Doesn't help get rid of it.
Well, I mean, Ciliana actually knows magic, whereas Theo might not have
Wasn't she
anything.
busy?
I don't want to
with
hurt your feelings, but identify specifically states an object.
Oh.
An object or an other object, magically imbued object.
Oh man.
Magic item or magically imbued
Yeah.
object.
Other than that,
You
she-
choose one object that you touch.
If you're,
And I don't want to objectify you.
No,
I
you're
just-
derisive enough. He's an
Literally, yeah.
object.
I
Just
mean, no.
poke his eye and just
Right there.
Well,
yeah,
she'd
just
have-
a piece of
The
meat,
only
that's
way
an
that would
object.
work is they'd have to pluck it out, and then it would be an object.
I don't.
But then
think
it wouldn't
that
matter anymore.
That would help.
I mean, it would help. Find out.
I think we should go to the alchemist place, and then if we get it taken care of, then we'll go see your friend. She's so busy though. She's got all those babies.
Why do you not like her?
Let's go to the thing.
So,
Because she's pregnant.
with you guys heading towards, you guys head towards the
Yeah.
alchemical supply. You run back to the inn,
The Adventurers
You
Guild.
go
to the Adventurers Guild.
Adventurers Guild.
You exit out of the chimney. What are you doing?
Good for Sanka.
I will say that eventually it's going to be a while, but she will come out. If
That's
it's
fine.
not. It's
What
gonna be
time-ish?
like noon.
Okay, cool. That actually works for me.
She comes out around noon, accompanied by Veer. They appear to be going into town for something. Currently, he is strapped with both of his spears that he seems to have in a cross, like sort of holster that goes around his shoulders. He leads her into town, mask
How many
on.
people are leaving the castle?
Right now, actually not a lot.
A couple here and there, though?
Yeah, the gardeners and stuff have been coming in and out. The servants have been tending to the grounds and cleaning up. You've seen the queen leave. She goes into the altar. She goes back inside. Sir Coram loiters in the altar for a way longer than she does before kind of going back. He kind of begins strolling around the outside. Amongst the people that leave, Mamariki eventually leaves with Koroma. They exit out. A couple people walk to that along the wall on the other side of the garden, there's actually a housing
Mhm.
area, like for nobility. People begin walking out of the castle into there. Probably got closed up during the night.
Yeah.
And yeah, eventually Sokka exits. You don't see the dukes. You don't see any of the named individuals. the Baroness. You don't see anyone
Sure.
exit.
Okay. So when she and Veer leave, I'm gonna give them like 10 seconds, 10 solid, wait for it seconds. I'm gonna look around for an opening when
Okay.
people aren't looking at me. I'm gonna get up and kind of brush myself off. And I'm just gonna head out to that main pathway and exit the castle like I was supposed to be there.
And make a deception check.
Okay. 8.
8. All right.
This plan has 2 parts.
Part 1, don't get caught. Fuck. Part 2.
Stab
If
the
you
guard
get
in the
caught.
throat.
Now when everybody
What's your
was-
name? Sleep forever.
No.
Let me show you my friend Cog.
Don't do
Better don't do it.
Lay down with Sprocket.
You got so much to live
Okay,
for.
So,
man.
with that, I'm going to close this out.
Oh no! It's so soon. I didn't realize.
So, as we come to a close, our view pans out of the city. You guys conducting your morning business. Zongak runs to the Adventurers Guild, where he's greeted by a large quantity of individuals. Some he recognizes, some he doesn't. That are currently all kind of like crowded around as the 2 ladies in the Adventurers Guild kind of give out some generalized information that you catch over the crowd. Basically, things like there's going to be an increase of transports to and from Alavra to Fort Corness in an attempt to get some of the individuals down there. There's going to be some scouting missions out into the actual Kaleva Mountains. There is a rumor of an open quest for the so-called Lizard Man. Information is going to be rewarded, as well as proof of killing them, as well as drakes. There is an open request from the stables in town to collect drake eggs or drakes, like live ones, to bring back to them. Amongst them, you do see Knife Wizard. You see a couple of the other guys in there currently. You two, as you guys, thanks. Just says keep going. You two, as you guys begin to kind of walk through the sort of central Monolith Street, you notice a very peculiar individual standing, almost like in wonderment. This individual stands there, kind of taking in the city. It's very off-putting. People kind of get away out of the way of him because he's currently dressed in what appears to be actual, like a plant. Like he's dressed in a plant. He has this coat that seems to be made out of living plant material, like just layers and layers of leaves. He has this crooked-looking staff that comes up and holds like a crystal underneath. As he stands there, he's just like, huh. He has this rimmed crown on his head that's just like this sort of like warped wood, almost like a crown of thorns, but it seems to come out on one side. And he seems mostly just like curiously looking around. People kind of get out of his way, just weirded out for a moment. As you guys walk by, he looks at you and he's like, he waves.
Morning.
And then he just stands there for a minute. Theta, you give the moment of the Veer and Sopka to exit. Take that opportunity. You look around. You don't really see anybody paying attention. You dust yourself off a little bit. You stand up, and then you begin to walk out. A couple people notice you. A couple people don't say anything. They're just like,
Weird.
and you just
That bulb just got up and left.
just like start walking down. No one seems to immediately stop you. As you round the corner into the Adventurers Guild, you see Zongak kind of waiting outside, and a group of people as all these just like shouting commands come out as they're like, they're looking for these things. We're gonna have everything posted, guys. We're gonna have everything posted. From Bamir inside, kind of nervously, and then we transition out farther away from the city.
Like a mushroom cloud.
And as we go farther out from the city, we pass over the grasslands that make up the farmers, and then we kind of head south towards to the Kaleva Mountains. And in the south end, there are drums. As these hordes of lizard men become pouring out of the mountains. And as they do, they take up these sort of long positions, and then rocks begin to fall from the mountain as this like thunderous like legion begins to emerge from the mountain and set up this stronghold right at the base. And right before we kind of pan out and exit altogether a very large green and black scaled lizard man with a large mantle made of various bone that comes down and drapes over his shoulder, almost pharaoh-esque in like its size and scope. And he has this long sort of like leathern jacket made of like skin. He has this large gash across the front of his chest that's almost like open and like still stitched. And as he comes out carrying 2 great axes, they all kind of look to him and they bow to him as he just comes like stalking out. And he looks around for the first time, his eyes squinting for the first time ever seeing the sunlight. And that is where we end today's session.
Damn.
Damn, son.
All right, so we're gonna go down for a couple seconds.
big
We're gonna
we
do
can
some.
find
We're gonna do some teardown, and then once the
Pop
teardown
back
is
up.
complete, we're gonna be right back up, and we're gonna do a talk back. So at the end of every session, we like to do a talk back. We talk about D&D, talk about mechanics, talk about this campaign, campaigns that you guys are running. If you want to ask us questions, or if you want to get our input on something, or you just want to shoot the shit, we talk about anything.
Mechanics questions, background questions of our characters, background questions of the world, background questions about what are done backgrounds.
Yeah. So any questions, any homebrew mechanics for the game, or any homebrew, anything in general? I guess don't need to beat a dead horse.
Beat that horse.
So
I mean,
we will be
yeah,
right back, guys.
well,
Let me just go down so we can do some teardown. Some people got to run away because they got work in the morning. So we'll be right back. Whoa! Go ahead and go to this thing. All right. So let me slide back in position.
Hello.
All right. Hey everybody. I'm Solros. These are my friends. Welcome back. Usually at the end of every session we do a talk back when time permitting. As you can see, some people have left. Tore down some of the unnecessary stuff.
Yeah.
But hey, anything you guys want to talk about, feel free. We'll be here for about 23 minutes. We ran a bit over today.
23 minutes.
Oddly specific time frame.
Yes.
But thanks so much for hanging out with us. Ash Ketchum, 649. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. Comrade Snarky 0, I think it's 00. Thanks so much for the follow. Definitely appreciate it. Rocco with the drive-by host earlier. We'll
Yeah.
see you in the VOD, buddy. And on Discord.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Always on. Always on
Oh,
Discord.
Speaking of,
Speaking of, we're doing a D&D related giveaway at 10 subs or 200 followers. Couldn't remember there for a minute. Kind of blacked out.
Do you need water?
I do not. I'm fine, thank you. And subs get access to sub-only Discord where we post all the stuff. You get access to all the homebrew like races and stuff that pop up in this game.
contests to influence the game.
Contests where we hand out like bonus tokens or other rewards later on. Right now we're just doing kind of like bonus tokens. Choose a character to buff of your choice. But yeah, we'll be hanging out. So whatever you want to chat about.
Yeah.
How did you like the?
I wanted to say I thought that this was a really good session today. I feel like we hit a lot of areas with different styles of things going on, and even though I didn't do a ton, like I was totally fine with what I was doing. I was like, oh, like this is some rogue shit.
Yeah.
Like, but I thought it was cool to see the party split and then come back together and then split
Yeah.
again. I thought it was done pretty well too thematically. I think it flowed really well for the game.
I thought it was a good one. What do you think over
Yeah.
there? Zonga and Karina are handing out chicken legs to people.
Yeah.
Hey man, you guys just stuff at a ball.
Well, I
Yeah.
figured, like, what would he do?
Give out food, man.
Yeah, just share
Hand
with
it
people.
Give out some snacks and chat it up. So, yeah. If you're just joining us, we're doing a little bit of a talk back. So throw anything you want in chat, or just hang out, listen to us talk about nonsense for a
Or
minute.
if you're curious about why we do a talkback or what we're talkbacking about, if you missed the entire stream except for this, that's fine.
Yeah, I think we used to do more. I feel like we used to do a lot of like talking about homebrewing items and
Oh yeah.
and mechanics and stuff.
Well,
for
that was
other games.
that when that happened though. We were deep into a game where there were a lot of homebrew items,
Oh.
so we were talking about the mechanics of those items, talking about the club, or we're talking about this gun, or we're talking about that cloak, or this hat, or whatever. And I mean, we're still, this is still kind of fledgling for this one so far, so we don't have as much of that. Obviously, we're only level 4.
Not for much longer.
Can't have too many magical items out right now.
Keep it up.
Yeah.
There's been actually a surprising amount of magical items in this game.
Yeah.
There's gonna be more too. I just haven't bought anything yet. So you guys got a hunt to do. You guys got there's a whole slew of things coming up for this for the
I
list
feel,
thing.
I don't
We
know.
could just abandon the city and run away.
You could actually.
Yeah.
There
You
are,
can do that at any time.
there are
Close
other
to top,
directions
fuck
to
it.
go.
You're just like, huh.
That's the beauty of DMing. I can go all this stuff. Not Lizardmen. It's now Knowles, and let's put it right over here.
Yeah.
The beauty of DMing.
Oh, the city you went to visit is also on fire.
Yeah.
Right. Suddenly
You're not
they're
getting
also
away.
under siege.
Oh, the
Um,
dragon followed you. Now there's a dragon. Did I mention the dragon? No. Well, there's a dragon.
Well, there's a
now.
dragon
He,
now.
he actually came from the future to come back because we never fought him in the first one or in the last one.
In the last
Yeah.
one.
I want you to fight this dragon. I'm gonna do it.
Though, I do have a bunch of homebrew stuff for a game I wanted to
Oh my.
To throw out.
start.
Go for it.
Well, no, it's just a fuck ton of evil, or not evil. but-
Not evil. He had to correct himself.
So if you don't know, Darren has made one of the favorite magical items on the stream ever, which was in his one shot, or not one shot, but in his what are we
Yeah.
calling that?
I forget.
What's up?
Side
That was
campaigns?
yeah, it was like a.
Yeah.
Oh, the
it was like a
rotating
mini-
campaign?
Rotating campaign. I was trying to remember how we called it.
Yeah.
Our rotating campaign, we were between worlds. We had a moment when Soul was getting lore together and all this stuff, and Darren created a gun
Oh yeah.
that was basically a wild magic gun, but you shot it, you rolled the hit, and then you rolled a D100 to see what happened. So even though you hit them, it might not do anything, or it might do everything, or it might do everything to your party, or it might do everything to all of the trees around the thing that you shot at, or it might make you tracked by a homicidal scarecrow,
Oh yeah.
or make all your teeth fall out.
Yeah. Oh.
Make all your teeth.
I guess I can't eat. What about the cloak of seduction? Come on.
Yeah, I use that thing for everything. For no reason.
Oh, yeah.
But no, for the next campaign, I wanted that each person got to play a monster race.
Monster.
And I have a little bit over a page worth of monsters. So there's Orc, King, Kobold, Goblin, Troll, Gnoll, Akroka, Kenku, Yanti,
What's a
Skeleton.
A croca?
A croca. It's a bird person.
Bird person.
They're actually in the game normally.
Is like Kenku?
They can talk
Yes,
and
but they're
shit.
way taller
Okay.
and they can fly.
They can talk and fly.
They don't have
Because
to do
Kenkus
anything.
can't, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They weave.
I did. I
Can we-
did read a really interesting post on Reddit where somebody was talking about playing a Kenku, and the DM was like, "No, if you're gonna play a Kenku, you gonna play that shit right." And so they brought a soundboard to the
That's
games
cool.
with them and a microphone, and occasionally they would record somebody saying something and be like,
Right.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
and then-
That would be intense.
Yeah. Then Ghoul, Flesh-Shaped Vampire, Lizard Folk, Centaur, Minotaur, Shifter, Ogre, Et, and
I
Blight,
just wanna send her
Doppelganger, Drow, Durgarch, Baxi, Oni, Lamia, Rat Folk,
What is it,
Mycondits,
Tabaxi again?
So,
Cat
person.
People,
Okay.
Slimes, Redcaps, Jaren, Mind Flayer, Thunes,
Just be a mind player, no big deal.
Bugbears,
You can now, right?
Hobgoblin, Drider,
No.
the Goat
Did they
Peeps.
make it so you could at one point?
I like the goat.
Can I have a purple sash and a staff?
Yes, you can. Purple stole.
Yeah.
Sure can.
Yep.
Didn't they make it so you could at one point play mind player?
No, but his uncle let me play one of his games.
Yeah.
To be fair, I didn't think that though. It was just on the list, and I was like, huh.
I'm gonna do that.
That's picking. That's what you chose.
I feel like, but it wasn't like I didn't think
It
of
didn't
it.
choose you.
It
Does that
wasn't.
make sense?
It wasn't like my thing where I was like, hey, can I play this in your game? He was like, here's the list of races, and I was like, oh ha!
Uh,
Is it like involuntary?
Thinking back though, should have played my Condon.
Whoa.
Could have played a
Oh.
mushroom samurai.
Technically, you have.
Mushroom cap for the hat. Come
technically,
on.
You have played in my content.
I have.
Benny.
I played a couple of them. I
Boggle,
like those things. They're fun.
Yeah, we did.
Pixie, Sprite, Darrow, Gift,
I'm worried for the future because of what Halifax did.
I'm worried about the future in general, like in the game.
Halifax
Tri-Cream,
shared his madness with the mushrooms.
Animated Armor,
Well, I
Dolls,
think he said before that
Scarecrow,
like those things are
Runs,
trying to like
Grimlocks,
get back to
Altoa,
like infect. stuff.
Yeah, no, I know they are. And he gave them
Seer,
this symbol
Darkling,
of his
Mute.
deity.
Yeah. Oh,
The
that's
god of
great.
madness.
So good.
Is it fire dude?
Can't remember
It's
that
no,
name.
each one is
Yeah.
from a different plane.
Oh, right.
That's
And
chaotic
then-
right there.
Gensai, Gith, Veggie Pygmies, Dragonborn, Sirens, and a race that I made up myself.
Even what you didn't know is they would just die in the sunlight. So
Oh.
you're gonna bring two of them out and they're
Oh, that's
burned
great.
to death. in
Do you
front
think
of
we'll ever
But
go
maybe
back to that or
spores
no?
though.
Huh?
Maybe spores though.
As long as they weren't exposed to sunlight, yeah.
Yeah, mine was
the
tucked in
race
my
literally
backpack.
burns to death in light.
Hmm.
So even their little
Well, I'm just saying they have telepathic memory or telepathic groupthink, and
Yes.
I gave them the image of the god of madness. I gave them the symbol of it with all the context behind it. It was like, here you go,
here, look at
and
this.
then he
thing.
left.
All right. Do you think we'll ever go back to that campaign or no?
Yeah, no.
Probably not, honestly.
Well, I was thinking because the new one is gonna take the place of that one.
Yeah.
And
That'll be a
new
group
one-
of idiots over there.
the new one is more, I feel like, more thought out on my
Yeah.
part.
I'm excited for the new one. I really am. I'm excited for the new campaign. a
I'm excited
lot.
to see where this one goes. So.
Like I
Yeah.
said,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play a well-adjusted character with a family.
Yeah, who knows?
Oh man,
Yeah, but the thing is,
I could ask Dad for money.
if you have,
Mm.
He says,
like,
no.
Well, yeah.
do you
He
have
says,
an
okay, but
overarching
interest.
story for this one that we're currently in?
What?
Do you have an overarching like story for the one we're currently in, or not yet?
Yes and no. I have potential villains, but
Well, just like the first one.
yeah,
right?
just like the first one. They
Where
might
so we
change.
played the first campaign. If you're watching this, at
So-
home, we played our first campaign, and there was a character who was supposed to be the villain. He was slated to become the villain. There were actually two of those. There's one in our party, which is exciting, and then there was one in the world. And the one in the world, we circumvented him becoming a villain, and basically saved his soul on accident.
Yeah, because we were just like,
It
we
was
like
not
you.
intentional. We were like, "Oh my god! Like we need to make sure something happens for this young man." We were just like,
I
"Nah,
mean,
bro, don't
a lot
do
of
that."
I don't think a lot of us even knew he was evil.
I mean, I did.
I didn't.
Like
I did it all until after, and then I was
Howard,
shocked.
Howard absolutely knew, and yeah, but so we saved it, and that's now the king in this campaign right now because he was supposed to go
Gotta
just apeshit and be evil and try to kill people. We were gonna put him down,
wait.
but we circumvented that before it happened, and so I mean, just super cool.
Not yet.
Was it they never had a baby?
Not yet.
They're trying though. He's
Maybe.
putting it in there.
Well, she was really young too, right? Not like people.
So she was super young because she was elven, right? Too.
Too young.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was like 6
And this
to
is,
me, and I was like, this is
when
ridiculous.
this is 200 years?
15.
No, sorry, 15. 20 years? Sorry.
15, yeah, 15 years.
Yeah.
Noah's like 30 something,
She's 35.
but
No, wait.
she was 35.
Yeah.
In the first campaign, so she's like 50 now. So she's like,
She's
yeah,
like
still creepy.
teenager.
Mm.
Adulthood's 100. Well,
Yeah.
that's the thing though, is it's adulthood to them
Yeah.
is 100. It's not like she's already full grown. She's
Well, they
not
live to be
800.
yeah.
So she's not. It's not like biologically
Well,
she's not old enough.
50 out of 8 is a 40th, so. So you,
Yeah.
take your average person who lives to like what, call it 80 to make it easy. That's 2 years old.
Yeah.
If you want to get a span of full life.
Oh, shit, I'm gonna ask something about this
She's still like a 50-year-old woman. That's what's the weird part.
Yeah.
It's just to her own kind. They're not
Oh, I know what I was
They're
saying.
like,
Oh,
You don't know anything.
she hasn't got
Give
to
her the
pick her
shot.
own name yet, but she did. So it's fine.
What a
But,
bitch.
for this campaign, do you have like a level that you want to get to before the end, or do you have like an event or like?
My goal for this one is to, at a minimum, have. Oh, I muted myself. Whoops.
Nice.
My
How do
goal.
you even do that?
I was doing something nice with it. So anyway, my goal is to have you guys get to 20 right now, and have you be able to do things at 20.
Oh yay! Like actually do the 20.
Do
yeah.
actually do
Hell
actual
yeah.
Yeah,
stuff.
20 is nice, but I just like to have a character that's level 14. I can do level 14
Yeah,
things
right.
Yeah.
Because it didn't like.
Now
He was
you know
like,
my
you guys
pain.
made it to level 20. I'm like, but it doesn't feel like we did because we didn't get to do anything.
I
With
think you guys only made it to 18, right? The
Uh,
final boss was at level 16,
yeah, I
and
think
then
we
you
were
guys were level
15 when we
18
went
and you
in. Yeah.
won.
Yeah,
because-
we were level 60 is
Yeah.
what we got.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's
So this one I wanna go higher.
sorcerers, where we got like, he was like, oh, you get this time, and you go up to this level, and I was like, oh, neat.
Depending on how the game's going, we might do some divine stuff, but I don't know yet.
Oh, like epic level or whatever.
Oh, gotcha.
Because I think it'd be fun to be able to do like a 21 or 22 and then stop. Or kill everybody at 20. Who knows?
Yeah.
See what happens.
Shit, I could become invisible at some point. I don't like to look ahead because I'm like I don't like to like think about.
Get all
No,
amped
you
up.
don't.
Yeah, well that and like also I don't get excited about stuff like in case we don't finish
Sharpen
this, you
the
know?
blade.
I feel like we're gonna finish this one, right? I think
Finish. What do you mean?
this one.
This game?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna finish this
Oh,
game.
yeah.
I don't know.
What do you mean?
Yeah, even
like
if
we
we
were supposed to
TPK, we're
finish-
finishing the
Yeah,
game.
we were
Yeah,
supposed to
a
finish
new band of adventurers
last
will roll up.
the two, the future one, and then we didn't.
The only reason we stopped that one was because of the time and stuff. Without divine intervention, we had
You're
like
fucked.
9 party members and only 3 people available to play.
Yeah.
That was why we
Mhm.
switched.
Oh, I thought it was just because like.
No, we had nobody, like everyone needed to stop for
Well,
whatever
I
reason.
thought you
and
had
then
like
they could
creative
come back.
issues with that one. Like you weren't. You,
I wasn't jiving with it at first, but by the time we got to where we were at, that was the first like little bit I was having a little bit of trouble. But there was some fun stuff. Come on, the arm monster, the floppy arm monster was
Yeah.
like
I liked the scarecrow.
the one that slapped homeboy. Who did slap and knock out
Sam?
in like one hit? Was it you in one
No,
hit?
no. Well, was it
Something.
you or was it Sam?
Yeah, it's because I went off by myself and I got slapped.
That was
Next
fun.
thing, I come back without a backpack.
I thought.
Oh yeah,
I
because
thought,
the jackal wears.
Yeah.
I thought Sam got beat up pretty good too.
I mean, I'm sure they did. There was some.
Bring
Yeah,
this
that was
one?
that was just a terrible scheduling time. And I'll
Yeah.
probably have another one of those around Christmas.
Yeah.
And there will be 2 weeks in September when I will not be here.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna-
I am
I really gotta
hilarious.
figure that out.
But also, I don't know, like even like like with your scheduling stuff, it's not so bad. Like you don't miss like a ton.
Well, it's not until it is. That's the thing. Like right now, it's freaking lovely. I'm taking tomorrow off,
Well,
too.
because
It's great.
when we dealt with that stuff in December, it wasn't so bad. 'Cause we just dealt with that.
Well, that was just because of the days that stuff landed on. But the weekends for December and me are real rough.
Oh, okay.
And then when Christmas occurs, there's always stuff right around Christmas because people want to do shit on like Christmas Eve and stuff like that to get people in. Because I work at a theater, so yes, we get dance performances, and it's mostly dance. Honestly, we have like 4 companies that need to come in and do the Nutcracker every goddamn year.
No, we're gonna do it better. No, we're gonna do it
We're gonna
better.
reinvent the wheel, guys.
You know.
It's like they show up and they see the set and they're like, yeah, this will do. Yeah, this is the last group. Yeah, we got this.
Dude, sets. They don't get sets.
No.
We get backdrops, if that.
And-
They get lights. They
yeah.
always get lights. Lights
Yeah.
is just the thing you get when you dance.
But
But-
that's like the main thing for those, isn't it? Is it like that what creates the scene and stuff is the lights for them?
Not for Nutcracker.
No.
You need like a house, and you
Oh
need like
shit. Okay.
yeah, you need a home, and then you need like a castle, and then you need like a landscape. I guess you can get away with that last one, which is lights, but like you can't just do a house with lights. You gotta like
Oh, look at
bring out a couch or something.
and this roof I made. And
We don't
these
have a
couches.
window. There's no window hung for people.
No,
They
no,
want a
I'm-
window. They gotta bring one.
I'm talking about with lights. It's
Oh,
just
just
like
like-
it's like a
A
square light
gobo,
like,
yeah.
window.
I mean, you can make a really
Yeah.
nice window gobo. It just
Or
looks
could
like you
you,
put
like-
light on a sheet, though.
Could you like take like a angle and like light lights against it so it looks like the edge of a house?
All right, so that's an interesting thing to say because none of those words make sense
Does
in the
that
lighting
work
world.
at all?
What do you mean by an angle?
Like a straight line and then like a roof.
With
like
light.
part of a roof.
Oh,
No,
you
no,
mean
well, not with
you mean
light,
cut a blade? No, I can get a gobo that looks like a house and put it in like a 50-degree source 4 and make a big ass house in the back wall. but it's supposed to be a nice house, not a shack that Paul Bunyan lived in.
Oh, I'm not like
Not a Lincoln
like
Log
a-
house.
so take like this part, and then shine like.
Yeah, but it's not supposed to be a house like that. It's supposed to be like a goddamn mansion. They're the Von Trapps. Like
Oh, that's right.
they're baller. He buys her like he
They're
buys her a
baller?
nutcracker from Europe or some shit. He buys her like the most expensive present in the world,
What are
and
you
it
doing?
comes alive.
Maybe a nutcracker?
Absolutely.
That's what I was doing the entire time.
Oh! I thought you were like talking as a nutcracker.
So what about you guys? You guys had fun this session? You had fun this session?
Yeah, I felt like the
So,
ball
you know-
ran a little bit long, but other than that, it was good.
Wow.
And then the-
I don't
Oh,
know.
that was
I
good!
felt-
Wow.
I felt like it was perfect. Like I felt it was the correct amount, but
There were
just
things
like
that
any
needed to get
party.
done.
Okay, but I like the
What-
rest.
what-
But back on the
There we
Nutcracker,
go.
my
You won't be
favorite thing
stupid.
last year, the Nutcracker, is so they have the Nutcracker, right? The dad buys the little girl a Nutcracker toy, and then either she has an acid trip, she goes into an alternate dimension, or it's just her
Never clear?
imagination. No.
Oh,
it's
no,
really
the
not clear.
Nutcracker's covered in lead paint. It's fine.
Yeah, very possible.
That's
But so
good.
she gets a toy Nutcracker, and then she imagines it coming to life and fighting the rats that live in the kitchen and shit like that. But so the Nutcracker is always a dancer. But the way this one company likes to do it is the Nutcracker is a dancer, but it's a dancer the whole time it's a Nutcracker. So he doesn't like hand her a Nutcracker. Like he has a box with a Nutcracker that comes out of it. But there's a Christmas tree. Yeah, it's a person. There's a Christmas tree. So the Nutcracker is in a present under the Christmas tree. The Christmas tree gets set in like scene 2.
Yeah.
The Nutcracker comes out in like scene 5.
So it's just a guy
So,
in a box
no,
for
it's
a
this
really
girl.
long time?
She's like 12 years old. And they just get a box and they put her up in the makeup and they set her in the box at the beginning of the show
Oh my.
and they roll her out on stage and then she just waits in that box
Do
for
people know
like
it's a
4 numbers. Yeah, of course they know it's a person.
I didn't know if it was supposed to be like a reveal, like a cool reveal.
No, I mean it's a big ass box. It's like but I just think it's funny. This 12-year-old girl is just sitting there while everybody's dancing in the dark, just going, "Not my cue yet. Not my cue yet." I love
Wait,
this
was that
box,
it?
It's my cue.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'd be like. I'd be like, oh.
Fall asleep.
We've done those. We've done practical effects. We had somebody set on stage for 45 minutes where they had to just sit behind a fireplace and wait to pull a practical effect.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't cost effective to do it any other way. Because students is cheap.
That sounds weird. It sounds like...
Any questions going into this new session? Next game.
No, I just don't know how we're
Are
going
you
to fucking do
ready?
it.
I'm
I feel
pretty
like we're
sure
supposed to
I
grind
made die
first.
from birds
I don't
I'm
know.
curious
trying
to
to
see.
knock me off a cliff.
I'm very curious to see.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't think we're supposed to go fight those things yet. It seems like
There is no supposed to. It's just life.
Yeah, but
you do whatever you need to do.
I feel like we need to grind first, and then go.
Maybe.
Tell him that. Not him. The other him.
I don't know. I mean, it's up to
He's
you
pretty
guys.
set on it. And I
Well, then maybe you should talk to him about it.
We'll make some adjustments on the fly. You guys do whatever you want. You can run all the way past all of the little guys and just go straight up to the boss and see what happens.
Punch him right
He'd
there.
just be like,
You know who would have been really good at that?
He's going like fucking blah, 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 and then he'd be draconic and nobody fucking speaks it.
You know who would be really good at
we'll
that?
get something for
Yana.
He's running the bucket,
That's what she's built for.
Yeah.
She's dashing into a situation.
Oh, she did.
running
Yeah,
away.
that's what she's good at. She did it once.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I'm sure she did it more in her. You know.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely
Yeah, she
certain
has a good
she's
balance
saved her
somehow.
children from something that occasionally shit happened out on the veranda.
He
That,
bit wandered off at one point, and then now he doesn't wander
Maybe.
anymore.
Maybe indeed.
What
I'm
are you
excited.
doing?
Excited for the
Is that what?
start.
I mean, all her kids are still alive, as far as you
That'll be
know.
fun.
She only has 3.
Stop! Don't say that. I think she would have said. She said about her dead
Well,
husband.
As far as she knows,
He'll
Yana
be-
only had 3 kids.
Next is just doing the back piece. That and then the skeletons.
Yeah, his minis are coming along. Awesome. We occasionally post pictures and we're not lazy, and I remember in the Discord under miniature paintings.
Yep, we got a box of them, right?
I'm excited for this.
I should set up a photo booth for those.
You guys will see some fun stuff.
It's a bitch to set up, though.
Is it? Can't you just like make one?
Yeah, you can just make one. It's a bitch, though. Because you need a psych background. You need to have a certain amount of light coming into it from the correct angle, and you need to take pictures and frame. It's a whole thing. You buy one online.
Yeah.
They're like $300.
Yeah. Because my friend.
I know because
she-
we used to have one at work. They used to
Oh.
take the promo pictures for all their advertisements on.
My friend, she was taking like a cooking class online, and she had to like post pictures of her food to be judged or
Mhm.
whatever. and she made one. She looked it up on Pinterest.
Yeah, I mean, you make a shitty one, no problem. Making a shitty one's the easiest thing in the world. But making one that makes
An
the things look
online
nice.
cooking class. It's the
For one.
weirdest fucking.
Yeah, it's
Cook
yeah.
a burger.
Do
Now do beans.
Now take a picture and put it on Instagram. All right, that's a B
Training
Here's
plus.
your credit.
Training you a basic bitch.
Pass fail.
What else? What else we got? Anything else? Anything else exciting?
Um,
You guys looking forward to? Shenanigans?
I mean, I'm still fighting my way through my credit card. Once my credit card is done, the next thing up is the computer. It is.
Oh shit! Okay, so announcement. You there, Mucker,
Yes.
because you can play this game. You need to download it like now. When you go home, go download it. No, you need to download it
is
too.
it the one we're gonna
It's
get
called
tonight?
Spy Party, and we should all play today.
Can we have
Let's do it
4
right now.
people?
Yeah.
Oh, you can
And
have
it's
4
online.
people?
It's online
I'm
multiplayer.
excited. We should try.
So basically, what it is
Spy party?
Spy Party. One person
I
is a
gotta buy it
sniper,
for now.
and everyone else is they're NPCs in a fucking party. And what you do is
Oh,
you have
is it like Gmod? Like the like Gmod on the ship and stuff like that? They made out of the Half-Life 3 shit where you're an NPC and
think
you're wandering
so.
around trying to be inconspicuous?
Yeah, you try to pretend to be an NPC, and the sniper has to figure out who is doing what. And so there's a bunch of NPCs, and it's a small, there's 3 rooms you can go into, and the sniper can see all the rooms. But you have to pretend to be an NPC because they'll run routes and they'll do different
You
things.
also have to. You have objectives you've got to hit.
Yeah, so one will be you can go to the fucking statues, and you can pick up a statue and look at it, and it'll be do you want to swap the statue out? And it'll change.
Yeah.
And then you set it back down as a different one. So you got to do it, while the sniper's watching. But NPCs will do it, and they set them down, and they'll go, fuck off or whatever. But watching some of the video gameplay, there's some funny shit. Because when you're playing by yourself, you can stutter step. And the NPCs don't stutter step. So if you fuck up, run into a wall, then you're fucking getting
Well,
blasted.
see, that's one of the things with the Gmod ones. The NPCs are super glitchy. So they do random weird stuff, and they block you from walking sometimes. They sit down, and they
Mhm.
they get broken. They just walk into a wall constantly. So it's cool because then if you mess up, it's fine. No,
Well, I mean, you can mess up if no one's looking. Because you can actually see, as the player, you can see the reticle. So, if you're walking around, you can see when the sniper is, trained on you or when they're nearby. So that way, if you see it, suddenly go off, and you can just change your camera angle and be oh, I'm fucking switching shit now. Nobody knows, Or if somebody else gets fucking blasted, then you can be oh, doing all my
Also,
shit
you
real
can
quick.
you have it's a time limit thing, so you can add time to your watch. So to the sniper just looks like somebody checking their watch, but they'll know if you're adding.
They
time
know
and
if
stuff.
you add time or not. And so if there's another guy on the balcony doing it, you can go out there and that's which one is it. If he shoots the wrong one, all the players win instantly.
Oh, it's a one and done.
Yeah.
From what I understand, yeah.
Interesting.
But if
Yeah,
he
that's
snipes
fun.
all the players, then it's if he wins or whatever. But it looked pretty funny. It looked interesting. I'm gonna download it and she's gonna get it today.
Yeah.
Right after this is
What's
over.
it called?
Spy Party.
It's
on
like
Steam.
$25 or something. I
It
think.
looks like the old graphics, so it shouldn't be so bad. I think
Let's
it's
see.
I also been playing Overwatch recently.
Yeah?
Oh, I didn't know.
Have you tried the new Hanzo changes?
No, because I'm awful. I
Dude,
haven't played it so long.
I know you're awful. Try Hanzo. Because his new Storm Arrow is broken in the best way. It's literally, it turns him into McCree, but more damage and faster shot time and no kick. So you do Storm Arrow, and his bow just goes like that, and you get 6 shots at full power where you're pointing. So I usually use it to kill Roadhogs.
Oh, yeah.
Because Roadhogs are super annoying. Roadhogs and Winstons. Because they just have so much goddamn health. And Zarya too, but her head hitbox is way smaller than those two. And you literally just start here and just click, 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 and it kills them. He's a good shield buster now too. So if Orisa drops her shield down, because that shield only has a 4-second cooldown or something stupid like that. With Hanzo and somebody else shooting, you blast through that shield in no time.
Yeah.
Also, Orisa's shield doesn't block damage, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Orisa's shield does not block damage. It reduces damage.
So you
By a hefty amount. Well, I only know this because I got fucking headshot as Tracer through it, and I had half health, and I was like, okay, I'll stick by the Orisa one, and then, and I was dead, and I went, you're fucking kidding? Because apparently shots can go through it.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a team player, so I just fill in whatever the team needs.
Support.
But in the process, no. First time I was Zenyatta and I was kicking ass.
I just play mystery heroes so that nobody can complain about who I pick and I get a chance to choose.
Nice.
But if I get Junkrat or Lucio, I typically don't die during the match. Also pretty good with Anna. They increased her clip size to 14.
I used to play Anna, so
She's so much better now.
And then I played Winston during one game because it was
Winston's not bad.
we were capturing the point, and I was doing work, but my team never would join me. So like they would be like pinging to go in, and I would fucking jump in.
All right, let's
and
go. I've
fucking
had that
drop
happen
the
a couple of
shield,
times.
go alt mode, and they would just not go in with me. And then I was like, oh, and then I would die, and all of a sudden you see everyone else is like,
Yeah, while you're respawning, they run in and I'll die.
yeah. I
Have
was
you
like,
played
I'm
Bridget
really
yet?
confused. No, I haven't played her yet.
Play Bridget.
I got killed by Bridget
She's
earlier.
so mean.
All right. On that note,
She's got a little Reinhardt shield, and she can shield bash, and shield bash stuns anybody. I got a Reinhardt so good today. I heard him start to charge, and I went, huh, and he was coming across me to hit my Symmetra, and I went, back, and it stuns him in the middle of it like McCree's flashbang.
nice.
It's so good. And then her shift ability, she throws out her flail, and it hits you and knocks you back a couple feet and stuns you. She's a stun lock bitch. Don't ever play anybody in Total Mayhem if they have a Bridget. Bridget in Total Mayhem is a monster because her cooldown for her shield bash is like 2 or 3 seconds.
Just fucking
So just back, back, back. You just get stun locked, and then if you have a Widow on your team, you stun lock them while your Widow headshots them, and that's the end.
All right, we are out. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Join us next. Hopefully
Like we
Monday
said,
we'll be doing some
anything.
Monster Hunter, but Tuesday definitely for the continuation of this campaign, and I guess the official start because I guess this is really like the big
No way.
into of Arc 2, kind of
Arc
like
2.
of the second arc. Yeah. I feel like
Remember,
this
because
is
the hordes were in Arc 1.
so mean. All right, so will we see you
I
later?
don't know.
Where?
Let's jump off.
Is it where your chicken is?
Let's go ahead and you.